right. Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast brought to you from the true north. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always my co-host King Bucho, who's having some technical difficulties with his microphone. He's been having those difficulties since Sunday, so trying to work that out. Sunday, it seems like it's a long time, Sunday, but it's just a couple of days, but we haven't been doing any podcasts. A little bit of a downtime here when it comes to boxing. Before we begin, again, if you want to join us, you know the drill. Go to Google Hangouts and send us an instant message via the email address on the top of your screen, boxingdebate@hotmail.com. That's boxingdebate@hotmail.com. I also want to thank everybody that's been contributing via the Super Chat and the Patreon via small tips, small donations. They really get us going. They really are getting us closer to this phone-in show, this call-in show that we want to get going. There will be a special film analysis for Jeff Horn versus Terence Crawford that we're going to be dropping in there for the Patreon subscribers, so you can look for that this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, Bucho and Stu and myself, we're going to be doing a World Cup show when the World Cup starts. It's not that far now. So anyway, thanks again for joining us, everybody. Shout out to Stu in the chat, Sasquatch, the Neutral Observer, Recognize the Matrix, Roberto Misquiri, Pavel, Original Bruno, not the fake one, Tony Nero, and FNC Bot, and many more to come, I'm pretty sure. By the way, I didn't even know the Champions League final was this past Saturday. That's how lost I've been, I've been delving into too much stuff right now. Didn't even know it was this Saturday. And from what I hear, Real Madrid won a third straight Champions League trophy, and they trounced, I heard, Liverpool. And apparently there was some chicanery going on regarding a Real Madrid team player who cheated, I think. I don't know. Butcher, are you there? Nah, he's not there. Anyway,
yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so what happened with this whole Real Madrid thing? I mean, before we get back to the boxing, what the hell happened there?
I don't know. Sergio Ramos apparently pushed Salah. What's his name? Salah?
I don't know.
The Egyptian striker from Liverpool, and then I don't know.
Did you watch it, by the way?
It's a bit of it. Like, to be honest, this is the first final I didn't watch. I don't care about both teams. So.
Yeah, I remember I watched the one last year.
I was gonna bet on it. I did predict a 3-1 scoreline for Real Madrid, but I ended up not betting on it because I never bet on specific scores.
Right.
But I should have, man. I knew it was gonna be 3-1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's how it ended then. 3-1. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's when was the last time somebody won 3 straight Champions Leagues in a row?
Never.
Never. Wow. Quite impressive right there. Well, anyway, fuck soccer, aka football. We're gonna have plenty of that when is it? June, the middle of June, when the World Cup starts. So we'll talk about that then. Do you have anything you want to start off with boxing today, this evening?
What was in the news today? Let's see. Garcia should be fighting Sean Porter in late August or
Danny Garcia.
Early September.
Danny Garcia, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was also the WBC. Well, now this Mauricio Suleiman said that if Golovkin doesn't fight Canelo, then he should fight his mandatory, which is Charlo. So now he has 2 mandatories up his ass with the IBF and the WBC. So, I mean, they just want to strip him, man. It's like, if you don't fight Canelo, well, this is what's going to happen. You're going to fucking lose your belts, man.
Well, by the way, Cameron says that he can't get into the hangout. Let me open up my emails chat here. So in case that doesn't work, I'll just call him right away, like direct. But yeah, I mean, there's some real fuckery going on here with Gennady Golovkin. It just seems like they want him out. You know, somebody's trying to put the screws on him, and it ain't right, because Gennady Golovkin has never ever shied away from a challenge. I mean, yeah, I know people are gonna bring up the whole fucking what's it called, Andrew Ward He didn't fight Andre Ward. Okay, he didn't. Like, does he have to go? Are fighters obligated to go up in weight? If they've cleaned out their division, okay, I could understand the fans wanting it. But there's no obligation for you to step up to 8 pounds. 8 pounds. You know, and fighting somebody that's bigger than you. I mean, come on, I never understood that. But so yeah, so that's what's going on with Golovkin. Then they're trying to put the screws on him. You said.
Yep, exactly. Listen, well, I'd rather see Golovkin fight Saunders or Charling. To be honest, I don't want to see Canelo in there.
Well, they're saying that I don't know if it's again bullshit, but apparently Golden Boy's saying he's looking to make Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. Then again, he also said that he wanted him to fight. They were into negotiations with Daniel Jacobs. That's what Eddie Hearn said.
No, that's bullshit. It's gonna be Canelo. If Canelo Golovkin doesn't happen, expect Canelo against Spike O'Sullivan in September.
All right. Before we continue this little discussion, we have Stu and Cameron on the line.
I wasn't bad though.
I told you what's going to happen, Price. I told you he's going to be sleeping. I told you the ambulance is going to come. The oxygen mask is going to come out. I told you he's going to miss the main event. I told you all them things were going to happen. What's happening, boys?
Good, Stu. Good to have you on board. And we also have, like I said, we had Cameron on the line. For some reason, I can't find.
Fuck, mate, it's life, man. You only live once. Make the most of life. Enjoy it. Because everybody's got their weird fetishes, man. And mine just happens to be eating fucking ass.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Glad to have you on board. Hope you're doing well. Hope it's not as humid over there in the UK as it's here in Quebec.
I heard you talking about that piece of shit, Sergio Ramos and Real Madrid. And I mean, this guy. Fucking hell, what a disgrace this guy is, man. The way he took Mohamed Salah out and then winked about it afterwards. Real Madrid are the Andre Ward of soccer. To beat them, you have to. Well,
okay, explain it to me. It's
impossible to beat them in a Champions League game, but that's why I'm going to leave it with the football for now. But really, I'm not even a Liverpool fan, and we talk about Real Madrid being this great side. Yeah, they're a very good side. Don't get me wrong, but what have you got to do to fucking beat them? Look how they robbed Juve and Bayern Munich. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And then they go and do that to Liverpool. I mean, let's be real. That fucking goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean?
I hope he plays against Mexico, man.
I don't want to see that guy play football again. I don't want to see him in England again.
Well,
I'm not even a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I got to ask you guys, since you're from the UK, whether it's Liverpool or Arsenal or any other team from England, if they're in the Champions League, do you root for that team, or are the divisions so strong that you go fuck Arsenal? You know?
No, I usually root for the English side. Why not? You know, I mean, do I want Liverpool to win, or do I want Real Madrid to win? I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? I despise Real Madrid. They're the Andre Ward of soccer, and that's just it, really.
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo did that. You might remember he did it to Wayne Rooney back in 2006 in the World Cup.
Of course, I remember. Fucking.
Well, I'm just saying.
Knocked us out the fucking tournament.
Well, I'm just saying that this guy
How
seems.
How did you guys forgive that fucker, man? He goes back to Manchester and everybody's like just cheering.
Man United fan. To be fair, he did a lot for Man United, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? This guy was fucking I think he's their best player they've ever had. So,
well, it's interesting because this guy apparently Ramos, he did explain to me. I know we don't want to talk too much football, but because I didn't see what happened, I didn't even know the final was taking place. What happened exactly? He faked? He died.
He did an Andre Ward move.
Okay.
Where he got in a hold and then just flung himself all his body weight. And sort of like turned Mohamed Salah. So he grabbed hold of his arm and then just jumped to the ground and landed on Salah's shoulder. It was done. It was a wrestling move. You know, it was a wrestling move. He did it on purpose. Then he winked afterwards when Mohamed Salah was leaving the field. So he meant to do it. He's an horrible piece of shit. I mean, look how many times he's been sent off. I mean, I'd love to see that guy come in the Premiership because I guarantee if someone break his legs, it'd be the best day of my life.
Bring back. What's the name of the guy that used to play Bullet Tooth Tony in Snatch? Vinny Jones, yeah.
Oh, Vinny Jones would have sent him into orbit.
Break his fucking legs, this guy. Because, yeah, I mean, listen, that's the thing that when we talk about certain fighters in boxing who do whatever it takes to win. Now, I understand winning is very important if you want to feed your family, this and that. But how can you sleep at night knowing that you didn't really win fair and square? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear the Egyptian lawyer has filed a 1 billion lawsuit against Sergio Ramos, so it's got quite serious.
Yeah, but what's that gonna come down to?
It's not going to come across anything. Of course, it's not. But they're trying, but it's not going to happen, is it? When it's like boxing, trying to sue someone in a boxing ring for trying to sue Andre Ward for fucking elbowing you and holding you and headbutting you. You're just not going to do it, are you? It's not going to work.
Yeah, man. This, like I said, have you guys ever heard the expression, "If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying"? Right? That's an expression that people give.
Yeah, the Italians and the Germans mastered it years ago, and I think we're starting to catch up now. I think the most bookings for yellow cards in the Premiership are from English players, so we're certainly catching up. We just haven't got the flair of you Latinos and South Americans. You do it with grace. We just fucking fall on the floor like a lump and get booked for diving. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, speaking of Latinos, who's worse? Cristiano Ronaldo for what he did in 2006, because don't forget he winked too after Wayne Rooney was sent off. Ramos or Suarez, the Uruguayan player.
Who's worse, Sergio Ramos or Luis Suarez?
Yeah.
Or Ronaldo or Suarez, did you say?
All those three, yeah, the trifecta.
Who's the worst? You got to go Sergio Ramos every day of the week. This guy's been sent off about 15, 16 times, man. Ronaldo, what he did to Rooney, I don't think it would have made a lot of difference, to be honest with you, because I don't think England were good enough to go on, even if we did beat the Portuguese. But in the Champions League final, Liverpool are on top of Real Madrid. They're on top, mate. Look like dominating the possession, coming forward. Mohamed Salah is their best player. He's calling the shots, and they go and take him out. And the minute he went off the field, the game changed. So I'm going to have to say Sergio Ramos for me.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I mean, this guy, if it comes down to consistency of performance, of horrible or of cheating and all that, you gotta give it to him then. But Suarez, in terms of the impact he's made, screwing over Ghana in 2010, biting people multiple times, this guy's a fucking cannibal, man. So who knows? I think it's just a matter of time before he snaps again.
I heard he's coming. I heard he might be going back to Liverpool. So.
Whoa. That would be interesting. Yeah, I guess that Barcelona money isn't enough.
Well, Barcelona, they're gonna. I think they're gonna start looking to bring some young, world-class talent in. And I don't think Suarez is getting on now. He's about 34, 35, isn't it? How long are they going to get out of him?
Right. All right. So, guys, you just got a little preview of what the World Cup show is going to be about. You can see that Stu knows a shitload about football. Bucho as well. Cameron, how versed are you in football? And would you be willing to take part in the show?
Quite a bit, yeah.
Because I'm not that familiar.
Obviously, I live down the south, and obviously I'm a Portsmouth fan. I used to be a season ticket holder when in the Premier League, so I went to the FA Cup final in 08 and 2010. So yeah, I'm quite big on my football.
All right, good.
I used to go Chelsea quite a lot. I did, but it's a very expensive day out. It's probably costing me £200 a time.
Just to confirm, Stu, Suarez is only 31, believe it or not.
Is he 31, is he? Yeah. Oh, of course he is. You know why I said he's 34, don't you? Because I'm playing my career mode on FIFA and he's 34 in that.
Oh, man. But in terms of expenses, it does, you know what? It's actually better, unless you're going to see Canelo Triple G or Mayweather McGregor. If you're going to see a fight, it's less expensive usually than going to watch fucking
about 25 quid. About 25 quid to get in a boxing arena,
right?
For not for the good seats, obviously, but just for a normal seat. Then you're talking. Depends where I live. It's the Midlands is not too far. London's not too far, so it's like an hour down the. So you're talking 25, 30 quid petrol, like 25 quid to get in, and you might have to get a room as well because you're not going to drive back on being pissed up, are you? And so you're talking a winner for a real good night out as well. So,
I'd love to see. They say they cleaned up the hooliganism back in Europe, but if I ever go see Manchester United game or something, I'm afraid that I'm gonna get my throat slit like that guy, the retard in Eastern Promises. Remember? I mean, was that?
Listen, we're friends. I went to the Man United end and we was talking and that lot, and obviously up north, when you go up north, they think I'm a Cockney, which is a Londoner. They think I'm from London. because of the way I speak, but I'm not. I'm not a Londoner at all. But and I was in the Man United end with my friends, and we was talking and that lot, and they thought I was a Spurs fan because I remember one guy going, "You dirty Cockney bastard," and I turned around and he goes, "Oh, sorry, mate, didn't mean you." I'm like, "I'm not even a Cockney, so crack on, brother." Do you know what I mean? So no, it's not like that. I mean, the back in the day in the '80s, you'd have got your fucking face filled in, but no, it's all changed now. A lot of the football hooligans are old guys now. They've got fucking family and kids and shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Granddads.
The veterans. They're veterans of the sport.
When I went to the game.
The youngsters are all fucking cooks, aren't they? So what are they going to get in a fight? What are they going to do? Bring their fucking nail varnish and throw that at people? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I used to go to games when I was younger, I used to go with my old man, and I used to see fights all the time. Like by obviously when you go to Fratton Park, you got like the toilets and things around the back, and they used to fight around there all the time. There used to be away fans getting into scraps all the time. It was quite growing up.
Fratton Park, you're a Portsmouth man then, are you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, they're right down the south coast. Yeah,
that's right, Portsmouth, Fratton Park. What a shithole ground that is.
I went to the League 2 or something.
What was that?
They ended up in League 2 or something, no?
Yeah, well, I mean, I went to the they played AC Milan in the Euro in the it was basically UEFA Cup back in 2009, and I saw Kaká, Ronaldinho, Pirlo, and all that. Inzaghi.
Didn't they give AC Milan a good game? It was 2-2, wasn't it? Or something
it was a draw. Yeah, Ronaldinho scored a free kick. It was amazing watching. I've seen Thierry on replay. Thierry on replay there. I've seen Ruud van Nistelrooy play there. I was quite, in hindsight, growing up, I was glad I saw those players. You know what I mean? Because football nowadays, you don't get players like that. I don't think.
I think Ronaldo and Messi are the best players ever to grace the game.
Yeah, I do.
Can you imagine Ronaldo? Can you imagine taking Ronaldo and putting him back to the 50s and 60s with them goalkeepers that they had? You know what I mean? He'd be fucking scoring 6-7 a game, man.
I just got, the fact I saw obviously Kaká was at Milan, so this is before he went to
Madrid.
Madrid, yeah. So this is when he was quality, you know what I mean, like in his prime. And it was to see all these guys in prime. I saw Henry score a hat trick at Fratton. It was just amazing.
Yeah, but then back in the days though, the ground was a piece of shit though. You're playing basically in like lumps of shit and everything. It was different.
Oh, it was horrible. There was no roof on the away stand. Obviously there is now, but back then there wasn't.
I had to stop playing professional football because of injuries, because of the grounds I played. I used to play for the Nottingham Forest. I did. I was at Nottingham Forest till I was about 17, and I just kept getting major injuries. And a lot of the grounds we used to play on, they were fucking downhill on a slope, and fucking there was mole holes in them and all sorts, man. These days, a lot of bowling alleys, bowling greens.
There's Boxing Killer in the chat says Pompey beat us 2 on their first Premier League game. I was actually at that game. He's obviously a Villa supporter, and all I remember for that game was Gavin McCann getting his head sliced open and just bleeding all over the pitch from the head. It was just hilarious.
I'll tell you a ground that I felt. I've been to a lot of grounds in the country. One ground that just had an eerie feeling about it. It was like going to a graveyard at night time. You know Hillsborough, where the big disaster happened with the Liverpool fans, where 96 people died. When they got crushed. Well, I went to that ground after that happened, and there was just an eerie feeling about it. You could just feel spirits everywhere. It's just horrible fucking ground, man. And Sheffield Wednesday haven't done anything since that, have they? Really, let's be real.
It's interesting that you were talking about. You said Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi the best of all time, or of their era. Come on, you gotta. I know you're gonna disagree, but fucking Maradona, man. He could hang with anybody right now and probably school them.
To be fair, to be fair, I did forget about Maradona. Maradona has to be in the equation. Let's be real. This guy was. I hate that guy, Maradona, for what he did to England. He cheated us with the hand of God. You remember that, don't you? You must do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was.
You know, where he cheated us out of the World Cup.
Then again, those English defenders couldn't even keep up. I mean, what the fuck?
Let's be real. The second goal was the best goal ever. The second goal's best goal ever scored at the World Cup. But the first goal was atrocious. But even still, Diego Maradona is a very respected man in England. Gets a lot of love over here. One of the best players of all time. Let's be real. Ronaldo and Messi are in great Barcelona teams and Real Madrid teams. Maradona was in an average Napoli team, and he won them the Serie A title when Italy was the strongest league in the world by a mile. He won Argentina the World Cup when Argentina were just a fucking basic fucking Bob standard South American side at the moment. At that time, do you know what I mean? And he was the difference, and that's where Messi hasn't stepped up for Argentina in these big tournaments where Maradona was winning them on his own. I think you've got to put him up there, haven't you?
I remember when one of the best goals I've seen. Remember when Beckham scored that goal against Greece? Remember watching that live when I was growing up to get him in the World Cup. That was an amazing free kick, wasn't it? But I think the most dramatic goal.
Fuck all though in the end, did it? We were fucking terrible.
Fucking David Seaman getting fucking dipped by Ronaldinho.
See, the thing with this England side, I actually think this England side, because no one's given us a fucking prayer, it's going to suit us. Because when we're hyped up, the media get behind, oh, England have got a chance, we flop. Do you know what I mean? Every time. But this...
2014 was the same thing, though. 2014 was the same thing. England didn't have that much pressure. I mean, they didn't have any expectations.
No, but we had a terrible fucking manager, Roy Hodgson. Come on, man, the guy's about.
That's fucking true.
I mean, the only thing in Roy Hodgson's fucking trophy cabinet is a spider web.
Yeah,
that's the. Yeah, you can actually hear the fucking spider weaving its web in there.
Yeah, you hear it eating a fly.
Didn't you have the Italian guy? What was his name? Before
we had Fabio Capello. Yeah, I mean, the guy was just a bit outdated at the time. I think he'd just passed his sell-by date.
What happened to him? What happened to him anyway?
We were paying him like $7 million a year back then to just play a Bob standard 4-4-2 with no natural left-sided players, and we used to get fucking played off the pot. I mean, I remember us hanging on for dear life against Trinidad and Tobago for fuck's sake.
It was where is Stu? Do you know where Capello's at now? I know him for a while.
Isn't he working at a pizzeria now?
He's too old, mate. Managers have I think Marino's going through that stage now. I think his tactics are outdated now. I think with these young managers coming through, they've just a bit more about them than what Marino's got. Marino thinks he can just stay solid, sit back, cover the space, and we'll get one chance and nick it, and then that's a terrible way. A terrible mind thought and a terrible way to play football. Man United fans hate Jose Mourinho. He's turned one. I mean, Man United used to be one of the most exciting sides in the world to watch play football. Now they're absolutely atrocious to watch. I can't watch a Man United game. I can't watch them.
That's what I wasn't too. You know, when Arsenal were linked to Arteta, I was one of the people that said I wouldn't say it's the worst appointment in the world, to be honest. If Arteta came in, because you don't know what he's about. He could have brought something new. He's young. I mean, he knows this day and age of football. But obviously they brought Emery in, didn't they? But I wouldn't have complained if they brought in Arteta, to be honest.
Well, they've got that Emery from Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah,
I'd rather have him than Arteta. Arsenal need a bit of stability, mate. They don't need some guy that's untested. Otherwise, you might as well just give Thierry Henry the job.
Well, that's what everybody's saying, right? Like Zidane now all of a sudden is this genius because he's been taken.
Zidane's won 3 Champions Leagues on a trot, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a coincidence, If you do it twice, all right, but 3 times,
hey, listen, you've still got to have a bit about you. If it was that easy, then me and you could go and do it with Real Madrid, but it's not. Right, Mourinho struggled with Real Madrid to win it when he had all them great players. So you got to give Zidane the credit.
All right, by the way, I just got to say something here. Our good friend Mikey Stott is in the chat room, still trolling, and he says, I thought only girls played soccer. I don't understand what's up with Michael. He used to be, a cool cat. Then all of a sudden he started throwing hissy fits. I didn't expect him to come back. He left a bunch of messages on the chat, on the YouTube comment section, and now he's back. He's saying soccer is for girls. Well, I'm sorry, soccer players don't roid like baseball players do. And
baseball. Let's be real. Baseball, right? When we're in England. When you have a physical education, PE in sports, you have a couple of hours twice a week or something. Well, the boys would play rugby and football, and the girls would play baseball. So in Britain, we class that as the girls' sport. So we let the girls play that while we play real men's sport. I mean, let's be real, sitting there chewing tobacco just with the fucking stick in your hand. Get the fuck out.
Hey,
I used to love that game though. Listen, when I was in school, I used to love playing rounders.
Rounders,
You know, like,
that's what that game is. Fucking rounders. And to top it off, they're wearing tights as well. I mean, get the fuck out of it.
Like, so running, yeah. I don't know, man. I like the fight. You know, I mean, fighting's my, you know, boxing's my favourite sport. But come on, man, you gotta love your football. You gotta love.
I mean, what makes me laugh about baseball? You know, all the pitchers are all like rednecks with fucking mullet hairdos.
No, wait a minute.
It's like they fucking dragged them from a saloon bar in Tennessee or something. Just to play baseball.
Come on, man. What's it gonna be? Rednecks. Rednecks have feelings too, man. I like how the term redneck, hillbilly, white trash, that's still acceptable. But you call
that's all go. That's all go. You know, you can call white people what you like, can't you?
Yeah.
Let's be real. But if it's when it's the other way around, Mr. Officer.
Oh man, yeah, it's Hey, well, listen, this is what I wanted to do, because since there's not that much going on in boxing, I have a couple of points, and Butcher as well, that we could have talked about, but I'm just curious, because, you know, we all get along with each other here, we all, you know, we like to talk about everything, not just boxing, but I am curious. Let's start with Cameron, because you were talking about how your father used to take you to soccer and all that, and I'm curious, how did you get into boxing? Like, what was your development into your introduction to boxing like?
Well, my father was actually a boxer himself. He was 29 and 1 as an amateur.
Whoa.
So obviously I got involved in the sport as that. I used to just, obviously at first I didn't get into it. When I was like 8 or 9, I used to watch the fights with him. I remember watching, you know, Hatton, you know, fighting like Juan Lascano and things like that. You know, when I was younger and all that, and when he fought Costa Ju, and Hatton was the fight I grew up watching. But then I didn't really start getting into hardcore until about 2012. So what, 6 years now? And that's when I started like watching it properly and things like that. So for me, I kind of grew up into it.
Yeah, I'll tell you how I got into boxing. Obviously, from a background, we're taught to fighting is our sport sort of thing. So it was always I was always getting boxing gloves from the age I could stand up. Always, I mean, I remember in the infants or the juniors, I got fucking expelled from school for beating people up and punching them. That's all I did. But so boxing, I remember the first fight, my dad let me stay up. I don't even know what I can't remember things from yesterday, but I always remember this. He let me stay up to watch Leonard v Hagler in I think it was '86. That was the first fight I ever remember watching. And then I just loved it, and it went on from there. I mean, I think the second fight I got to watch live at night was Mike Tyson v Bone Crusher Smith. And I didn't get it was such a terrible fight. I couldn't stay up, so I managed to sleep through that one. But yeah, and it just went from there. I remember my dad took me to see Nigel Benn when he was called he weren't called the Dark Destroyer, he was called Big Ben. He was called Big Ben. He was just got out of the army. He used to wear army shorts, and he fought a guy in a village hall called Gypsy Carmen. And I think if you remember, I remember the Gypsy Carmen, his shorts kept falling down every time he took a shot. I don't know if I've told you that before.
No, I don't remember
and then I just started watching boxing. I mean, when my mates were going out, I mean, when I was young, I didn't get there's an echo.
Like, just keep going through it. Just keep.
When I was young, I didn't get a lot of money, so I used to go to school and that lot. But I used to use my money for pay-per-views to watch Prince Nassim Hamed, because I was a big Hamed fan. So
Same as me.
I used to save my little wages I got while my mates were going out and buying fags, cigarettes, and going to the pub and meeting girls. I was saving my money and staying in watching Nassim Hamed fights. So it's just grown from there.
That's what happened with me, man. When I was 18, like, even when I was 18, like, all my mates were going out drinking and things on the weekend, whereas I was always staying in on fight nights. Like, even now, I'm staying in on, you know, week fight nights. I stay in rather than go out. Obviously, sometimes I go out. Like last weekend, I went out instead of watching Selby Warrington, but it's a rarity. And I remember one of the first fights I watched as a hardcore, so I stopped watching it. And then obviously, I remember I watched Hey Klitschko. What fight that was to fucking watch. And I remember just watching that fight. And that night was like 7 years ago. And that was when I was, what, 13? So that was the night where I thought, yeah, this is the sport. Like, it was just something clicked, which is weird because the fight was a complete stinker. But that was a night when I thought, yeah, boxing is a sport that it's just something there. You know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the David Haye versus Klitschko fight, because it's, you know, it was a huge build. There was a huge build up for that fight. I mean, you know, Haye was blitzing people. He had hand speed. Klitschko had never fought anybody like him in a long time, and all of a sudden David Haye goes in there and it's a flop. But when people tell you, "Oh, boxing is dead," look at that. That was 7 years ago.
Do you know what I paid? Do you know what I stayed up with my mate? We got a few beers, and we stayed up, and we paid back then. Morales won in the UK. It was like £15, I think. And me and my friend, we went $7.50 each, and we stayed up to watch Barrera Morales won. And to this day, still one of my seen.
Yeah, Morales Barrera won. I remember I was watching that one with my family, and I knew that Morales was good, but that he would get into too many brawls. Like, because I had seen him fight Wayne McCullough, and you know, that'd been a harder fight.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be as hard as it was for Morales, but it was like, you know, fucking Wayne McCullough had a heart of a champion. He just came forward. So when I saw
Wayne McCullough, though, he was a hard man to stop.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even fucking
stop Wayne McCullough.
Scott Harrison couldn't do it.
There's one fighter I wish I could have, you know, obviously I was too young at the time. So I was born in '95. There was one fight, obviously I wasn't old enough to watch Jones in his prime, but that's the one fight I wish I could go back and watch in his prime, because the first Roy Jones fight I watched live was when he fought Danny Green before he fought Hopkins. And I never got to witness Jones in his prime live, and that's something that I really fucking hate. Even though he fought really poor position, I just wish I watched Jones in his prime.
It's interesting that you mentioned.
Like I said, I mean, I watched Gerald McKellen, Nigel Benn live on TV. That was, I mean, yeah, I watched that live.
My dad was
time in the UK on normal. Yeah, it was on normal TV. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Because I'm a big Nigel Benn fan. This guy was knocking out, cleaned out the division, beat fucking Charles Brewer. Do you know what I mean? The guy was just steamrolling everyone. So, and then this monster came over from America that we didn't really know much about. But Barry McGuigan, he was like, nah, Nigel Benn is going to get knocked out in 2 rounds. You know, this is no fucking idiot. So, I mean, I could believe what McGuigan was saying. And then in the first round, well, McKellen had Nigel Benn in fucking Queer Street, knocked him out of the ring and all sorts. I'm like, McGuigan was right. Do you know what I mean? And went on to be one of the great fights of all time. But then, obviously a tragedy at the end.
My dad was at that fight, man. My dad was at that fight.
Really?
I mean, Eubank won. Yeah. Nigel Benn won. I mean, that had 20 million viewers in the UK. That fight had.
Well, let me just go back to what Cameron said, that his father was there. Let me tell you something. I don't like to watch that fight very often, despite its action, because of course, like you said, at the ending, I mean, I can't enjoy a fight that much. But man, you listen to the crowd. Especially when Ben started making his comeback, man, I mean, you don't get that in any other crowd. I mean, yeah, in soccer, when somebody scores a goal, it's especially if the stakes are high or something. But boxing, I mean, it's 2 guys. To me, it's high stakes, the highest stakes. Because you, like what happened in that fight, it can have terrible repercussions. And I don't think any other sport can have that. Only combat sports can create that excitement.
Yeah, but the thing about the UK, we just a little while before that, we had Michael Watson, who was beating Chris Eubank all over the ring, smashed him to pieces, knocked Eubank down. Eubank got up and just threw a desperation fucking punch, and it landed straight on the button. And as Watson went down, he banged his head on the middle rope, and that's what caused him. So we just had that, and in McClelland, it went for a dark period sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's when a lot of the channels, a lot of the normal TV stations backed away from boxing, and that's when Sky came in. But yeah, I mean, I can go back for so many. I mean, I remember watching Chavez Senior. Do you know what I mean? When he was still a fucking great fighter. Do you know what I mean? So I go back quite a while, and like I said, that's why I like talking about the old school fighters, because they gave me some great nights of boxing. I mean, the only time I think I've ever gone to a pub to watch a fight, because you got to remember, it's what people say, go to the pub. It's easy over there. It is easy, but over here it's 4:30, 5 in the morning. I don't want to be in a pub at that time, enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the only time I did was when Holyfield fought Tyson in the second fight, and when Tyson bit his ear off that fight. That's the only fight I've ever watched in a pub, and I remember the whole pub was like, fuck's sake, stayed up to watch Tyson bite someone's ear off.
Yeah, Stu, I watched that. You know, I watched the McLennan Ben documentary 1,000 times. So
Yeah.
you watched that fight live, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it live.
So,
Yeah.
you know when it was happening. Did you? Because you know, like people say, oh, you know, nobody noticed someone was McLennan. Did you? Or
Yes. Well, he was blinking and he kept spitting his gum shield out. The gum shield was coming out constantly. And the problem is he's got a broken nose, and he doesn't know how to breathe when he's got a broken, which is very hard to breathe. Let me tell you, it's a very hard skill to breathe when your nose is broke. But he kept spitting his gum shield out. The thing with Buchanan, he'd never been taken to them deep waters before. He'd never had his nose broke, so he didn't know how to react when he was getting hurt. And I think his bravado came in, and when he should have took breathers, and he wasn't. I mean, he should have been pulled off. He was blinking like fuck, blinking, and that's a sign that he's not getting enough oxygen to the brain. So, I mean, there's a lot to that story. I mean, Gerald McClellan would still be alive today, but he got rid of Emmanuel Stewart because he wanted to save money, and he got some fucking chumping that he met at a dogfight that didn't even know how to wrap hands. And he was just a yes man, and he had him in the corner. So when he's coming back to the corner, and Gerald McClellan's blinking and looking in all sorts of bad ways, this is where a good cornerman step in and say the fight's over. We will have another day. But this guy was too scared to tell Gerald that. So he's like, go on, Gerald, you're winning. Just keep doing what you're doing. And that's the worst advice you could ever have in a boxing ring when you're close to having a fucking blood clot in the brain. I mean, that was the difference between him being a cabbage in a wheelchair now to him probably being a commentator or something as we speak.
yeah,
you know, fact is, you've got to have the right people around. And Emmanuel Stewart said, I would have pulled him out straight away.
He was a nasty piece of work, wasn't he, McLennan?
He was a real piece. I don't shed no tear that Gerald McClellan's in a wheelchair. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm an animal level. What that guy did is a piece of shit. And like Nigel Benn said, he got what he deserved.
Oh, Nigel Benn said that?
Yeah, obviously he backtracked after a while.
Right,
but,
right.
You know, at the end of the day, Gerald McClellan and Frank Warren gave this guy $1 million of their own money. Don King, the promoter, left him after that. Left him with all the bills and everything. Do you know what I mean? This is what scumbag Don King is, right? See, Gerald McClellan, this is, again, good advice. Gerald McClellan, a doctor in England, said he would have cured. He would have made Gerald McClellan better. He wouldn't have made him so he could fight again,
right?
But he would have made him so he could live a life. He goes, the problem is they wouldn't let them operate. They wouldn't. His team, McClellan and his sister and all that lot, they wouldn't let the UK medics operate on him. They said we're taking him back to America. And they stuck him on a flight, and it was the flight that caused the major brain damage because he's got a clot as it is. When you're at 35,000 feet altitude, you do not. That's why you got to have medicals now. When you if you're sick, if you've been sick or had head injuries, you want to go abroad, they have to give you a medical, make sure everything's all right. You can't just get on a plane. And that's what happened. So if he'd have been allowed, these days, they'd have said, right, the police would have got involved and they'd have kept him in. But then you could just take him, and they stuck him on a private jet back to America, and the damage was done. So
I remember Don King in that fight. He was still with Nigel Benn, all smiling and happy, whilst McClellan was on the floor.
Sitting there waving his British flag. Sitting there waving the British flag. He was.
He's a real scum. Could you imagine Eddie Hearn doing that? Say, for example, if Anthony Joshua got knocked out and he stood in the ring with Klitschko or something like that.
Eddie Hearn wouldn't survive promoting if he did that now.
Exactly.
Yeah, like Don King, he did the same thing when, like, if you watch the slow-mo replay when Lewis knocked out Rahman in the rematch, and you just see Don King there with like a little, not a grin, but he's got a little sly smile.
He don't give a fuck, mate.
Because he doesn't give a fuck.
When you sign a fight to a Don King card, when you sign to fight on a Don King card, he's got you for 2 or 3 fights. If you want to fight one of his champions, he's got you for 2 or 3 fights anyway. He's part of the deal. That's how he used to do it. But I just want to get back on why Nigel Benn said, you know, because Nigel Benn had his jaw broke. He was coming out of the ambulance and everything, and Joe McClellan said some nasty things about Nigel Benn before the fight. He said, "If I'm going out there to kill the guy. If I kill him, I'll kill him." This is the sort of guy McClellan did. So when they asked him, he just got out of hospital. The adrenaline is still probably pumping. He's sore. He's got his face is fucking swollen. They go, "Oh, what do you think about Gerald McClellan being in hospital, being in a coma?" He goes, "Rather him than me." And Nigel Benn got a lot of stick for that. So Nigel Benn and Frank Warren, obviously, as the years went by, he didn't feel that way. It was just adrenaline thing at the time. But they gave him $1 million of their own money to help Joe McClellan. And Joe McClellan's family, they were making Nigel Benn's life a fucking misery. Do you know what I mean? And
you saw the video, don't you? There's a video of like Ben meeting him, and he's like, McLaren was like,
well, he came to England, yeah, because the UK did a dinner for him, because that's what we do. We're classy boxing fans. We don't forget about warriors, no matter where they come from. A lot of ex-pros make a living going around the UK having dinners and doing stuff, promotions and things. And we got Joe McClelland over and raised fucking about £100,000 from, probably more, £200,000, I think it was, for him and his on a dinner. So he came over, and Nigel Benn obviously came to that event, and he broke down when he saw Gerald McClelland, because Gerald McClelland was going, "Is that you, Nigel?" And he's like, yeah, it's me, Gerald. He goes, did you beat me, Nigel? Gerald McClelland still don't think he lost the fight. That's how that's sad. Do you know what I mean? He's like, did you beat me, Nigel? Did you beat me? And obviously Nigel Benn's going to say, nah, yeah, I knocked you out in the 10th. And he's not going to say that, is he? So he just breaks down.
He said,
was it a good fight, Nigel? Was it a good fight? Let's be real. Gerald McClelland was an absolute monster. If he had a better team, Joe McClelland would have gone on to be a great. Joe McClelland would knock Roy Jones Jr. into next week. Let's get that straight. He'd knocked Hopkins into next week. He went to fight a warrior. I mean, let's be real. He probably got robbed, because Nigel Benn should have been counted out. He was 13 seconds. But
first round,
forget that. He fought a warrior, and he came unprepared with a bad team and bad advice, and now he's in a wheelchair.
I remember McClelland was like, he said McClelland turned to his sister, and he said, "Is Nigel sad? Is he crying?" And Nigel Benn walked out crying, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he. I mean, when I can only imagine what it would be like. Like, you see the guy and you were responsible. But then again, I mean, it's a fight. Both guys know the risk. I mean, there's nothing personal. It's just they made an agreement. They knew the risks, and they went in there. And it's interesting because Nicola Ferrari was saying in the chat room. Shout out to Nicola. He said that he always thought that McClelland was overrated because he enjoyed a size advantage. He should have been fighting at higher weights, but he says that the fact that he was drying himself to make the weight in which he fought Ben, I think it was 160, right?
Lie. Well, that's a lie, because Joe McClelland was a middleweight champion of the world, and he went up he went up a division to fight Ben in his first fight. He went up to face the best man in the division at the time, and he went up division. So how could he be? You know, that's a ridiculous statement.
Yeah, let's be honest. Jones never wanted to fight McClelland. Let's be honest as well.
They were friends, right? They were friends, I think. That's why they.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, man. I mean, I just can't believe McClelland ran through. Like, you consider how much of a fucking warrior Ben was, and McClelland was just pounding him all over the first round. I mean,
let's be real. He had something like 23 wins in the first round.
Yeah, he did. It's madness.
Bona fide puncher, man. Bona fide puncher.
I guess in a way, like, I agree with what Stu said. You know what I mean? In terms of the way he was, you know, who he was as a person, you know, him. You know, I don't really have much sympathy for him for that, but I can't. You know, it's sad that we didn't see the potential of him as a fighter. I think that's probably a way to put it.
It seems like it's always the. I mean, I know this is gonna sound weird or whatever, but it's always the big punchers, the exciting fighters that end up dying young. Like Salvador Sanchez was a big puncher. Edwin Valero died young. You know, Joe McClelland gets into health troubles and he can't continue fighting anymore. It's always the exciting ones. They're the ones that leave you thinking, "Oh shit, what would have happened if?"
Edwin Valero, yeah. I mean, obviously we know the story there. You know, Salvador Sanchez was very unfortunate. He would have gone on to be an all-time great because he was very young, wasn't he? And he was, you know, was he a two-weight world champion or something like that? Salvador Sanchez when he died. And you know, you look at Valero. I mean, you can't really have. I mean, well, I'm not going to go into. You can't really have sympathy for what that guy had done. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It's just that's the thing when a guy dies young, there's no other way of thinking other than what if. Like, how far could he have gone? You know what I mean? Because Salvador Sanchez, like, somebody made a very good point one day. William Detloff, from a former writer for Ring Magazine, he said, "We never really got to see Salvador Sanchez get tired. We never got to see him get injured. We never saw him get tired of boxing, or maybe get into problems with his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and really affected him during boxing. So we never got to see the things that usually you know, bother boxers later on in their career. Because like you said, he died. He was what, 23? You said, or 21? Not 23, right? I think
he's 23. I think. Yeah.
Jeez, I mean, And he'd already beaten a whole bunch of fucking killers in there.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Salvador Sanchez was only 23. I mean, just think what that guy would have done when he'd grown into his man weight and got, you know, his full strength and matured as a fighter. I mean, like I said, he could have been unstoppable, man. He might have broke that. He would have fucking destroyed Floyd's 49 and 50 and 0, whatever it is. He'd have got about 70 and 0. The guy was a monster, weren't he? Let's be real.
By the way, before
everybody talks about him, everybody says when everybody talks about the greatest fighters of all time, somebody always brings up saying Salvador Sanchez. You know, he would have been in that conversation. He should have been in this conversation. That kind of tells you where he was at.
Yeah, just like you said, just didn't have the career due to obviously his death. But he would have been something special. He was something special. Let's be real. But he would have been right at the top. One of the best Mexicans I've seen, that's for sure. Because he had it all. He could brawl, but he could box as well. Technically very good. Strong as an ox. Good chin. Stamina for days. I mean, everything you want in a fighter.
Before we continue, just want to welcome Recognize the Matrix, who just made it into the hangout.
Don't get fooled when they tell you that the crime rate is down in New York. Every time I watch the local news, they're always talking about, well, there was a stabbing here, there was a stabbing there, there was a shooting there, but the crime is down.
All right, Recognize. Thanks for being on the show. Always glad to have you on board. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you. Doing well.
What's up?
Thank you for having me on.
What's up, man?
What's going on, Cameron? What's up, Stuart? Bucho?
What's up, bro?
On there?
Oh, and we just got Pavel on the line as well. Pavel is in
Pavel.
What's up?
Hello,
That's
Pavel.
That's my brother. How are you?
Oh man. Okay, by the way, we're just, since there's not that much going on, and before we delve into the little news that are going on in boxing, we're just talking like boxing memories and all that, and we were talking about Salvador Sanchez, and you know, what could have been.
This is one of the best podcasts I've been on, man, so far. I mean, these topics are much better than talking about the current news, let's be honest.
Yeah, man, do you guys really want to talk Joshua Wilder again, or Canelo Golovkin too?
Man.
Yeah, I agree.
Going to Salvador Sanchez, man, that was one of my father's favorite fights. He's the one that obviously got me into boxing. So Salvador Sanchez at that time, I remember, was he dead already? Could have been dead already. He had already passed away, I believe. And he would just make me watch videos of Salvador Sanchez. He totally loved him. He was like, man, look at it. You know what he was impressed by the most about Salvador Sanchez was not so much the skills, because we know that obviously he was a great boxer, but he loved the reaction of his face. No matter what, he would always say, look at his facial reaction. He has the same expression whether he's beating you up or you hit him.
Yeah.
So he was impressed with that. Reminds me of Triple G, or Triple G reminds me of Salvador Sanchez in that aspect. But yeah, just one of the greats. I remember watching the fight between him and Azuma Nelson, and I believe the fight was in the Garden. And after the fight was over, he tells he has the post-fight interview, and look how true this was. He stopped. He's the only guy that ever stopped Azuma Nelson.
Yeah.
And he said after the interview, he said, you know, they asked him, what do you think about Azuma Nelson? He said, Azuma Nelson is going to be an all-time great.
And it turned out to be right. Gee, he could smell.
I mean,
well, listen.
It, right? He said
Zuma Nelson was a very good fighter.
Yeah.
Well, he had under 20 fights, late replacement, and he gives Sanchez all sorts of hell. Some people actually think I'm not sure, but that he was winning the fight. I mean, in my eyes, it was a pretty close fight, but for a guy that had under 20 fights, oof, he was a monster.
Right. I mean, he had under 20 fights. Remember, Salvador Sanchez, even though he was so young, that was I believe that was his last fight ever.
Right.
Salvador Sanchez already been through. He had so much experience. He started boxing at 16. He already lost the fight and knows how to deal with adversity. You know what I'm saying? So he was like this. He was this total package deal of skills, experience, dealing, with adversity and everything else. So it was sad to see that. Obviously it's sad that somebody dies that young, because at least discussions with like people I know, like my father, my father was always convinced. He was like, "Oh, he would have beat Chavez. He would have outboxed him." You know, it was like back and forth. You know,
I'd have picked him to beat Chavez.
You know something? Yeah,
You may be right.
A good fight, but a very good fight.
Let's be honest, this is a guy.
Who was it who Chavez fought? You know, when it got stopped in. Was it Meldrick Taylor when it got stopped in the last second of the round? Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
It was Mel. Oh, that was disgusting.
Meldrick Taylor was outboxing.
He was winning that fight. Yeah, he was.
But if you look at that fight, Stu, he was wearing Meldrick Taylor down.
Yeah, he was.
He was. Now the stoppage. You can say that there was some controversy there because Chavez was a huge star back then, and it seemed like if it would have went to the scorecards, or nobody know what the scorecards was, but it seemed like he built a big lead that
But my problem is, bro, you can talk about that till you fucking blue in the face. The fact is, there was about a second left on the clock, man. All you had to do was
2 seconds.
That's what I'm saying. Come on, man. You're telling me you couldn't wait 2 seconds.
On Salvador Sanchez, man. On Salvador Sanchez, he beat Uzuma Nelson, but he also beat Wilfredo Gomez, man, who was he was just knocking everybody out before that fight, undefeated. One of the biggest punches in that super bantamweight division, probably in history. The guy was just knocking everybody out. Sanchez just knocked him out, man, just wiped him out of the game. And he was only 23 years old. And Gomez, was he Olympic champion or was he world amateur champion? He was something like that.
No, Gomez started. I don't think he ever did. He may have competed in the Olympics. I'm not sure. But to your point, Cameron. Like Gomez he's one of the greats. Like he is. Like when people say, Puerto Rican boxer of all time, to me personally, I think
Alfredo Gomez is the best.
Yeah, Wilfredo Gomez is the best. To me, he's the best Puerto Rican boxer to ever do it. Yeah, if you look at his resume, you look at all his accomplishment. But again, it's up for debate. But that win over
he's undefeated. He was undefeated, knocking everybody out.
Dude, for me, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe his record was
39, I think.
34-0.
It was more than that. I think it was 40 something.
Right. I think it was like it might have been 30.
He might have had like 35 to 40 fights, and all but one were knockouts. I believe that was.
Yeah. I think he was having like a 25 knockout run or something like that.
And he didn't fight bums. He fought the best.
He didn't.
Like Gomez fought Sarata. He fought quite a few. I can't think of and like he fought killers in his weight class, and he beat them out. Yeah,
I mean, for me, a lot of people say Trinidad is the best Puerto Rican fighter of all time. And Trinidad's definitely up there, but Gomez for me is.
To me, Trinidad's the best I've seen in terms of from start to finish. Right, yeah. Like from start to finish on video. When I take everything into consideration, for me is Gomez. Gomez, you can make a good argument for Wilfredo Benitez. And Trinidad, even Cotto's there, of course, absolutely.
But just real quick with Wilfredo Gomez, because he, recognized mention, he beat up Zarate when he tried to come up. He also beat up Juan Laporte after the I think it was after the Sanchez loss. But the one fight that stands out to me with Gomez is when he went to war with Lupe Pintor. And Pintor was the guy who beat Zarate at 118, where Zarate had never lost. It was a very controversial decision, so Pintor really had to prove something. And I think they went until the 14th round, Gomez and Pintor, and it was a war. So that to me is the most important thing when you're judging the worthiness of a fighter. When can he go toe-to-toe? Because apparently Gomez, they said his discipline later on in his career wasn't the best. But in that fight, he showed he was in shape, he had heart. He could have quit at any point in that fight, but he held it together. And watch that fight if you haven't seen it against Pintor. It is a war.
Gomez, that was one of the greatest fights that I've ever seen. Like on just watching video or live fights. Yeah. But one thing about Gomez, who Gomez fights like? Oh, you know who fights like Gomez? Rather, I should say, Danny Garcia. Just not a, yeah. Danny Garcia positions himself the same way.
Just not the same power puncher.
Right. He obviously pound for pound, he's not the same power puncher, and I don't think he has the speed. Also, I don't think he has quite the speed pound for pound wise that Gomez had.
Yeah, I mean, when we talking about greats, like I mentioned earlier, the Morales Barrera 1 fight, bro. I mean, that for me is still one of my top 3 fights of all time. And Eric Morales, I think Eric Morales was a fucking tremendous fighter. I mean, this guy he had everything as well, Morales. I mean, to be fair, I think with the Barrera fight, I think the judges got it wrong. I mean, the one Barrera won, he didn't get, and the one he lost, he won, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you know what I'm saying. So
right.
They had a trilogy as well. I mean, for me, 2 of the great Mexicans of all time, they've got to be in my top 5. Them 2. I mean, a lot of people like Barrera better, but I thought Morales was a much better fighter. But Morales used to get dragged into wars with Barrera because he hated him so much, and he never used his boxing. He just wanted to war with him, and that always suits Barrera, doesn't it?
Yeah, Barrera was a much better inside fighter.
Yeah.
And so when he took it on that's why everybody was saying in the second fight when he decided to box, because he thought he was going to be able to outbox, since he had outboxed Nassim Hamed. He thought, I'm going to box now against Morales in the rematch. I'm not going to go to war with him. And he lost the first 6 rounds, and it was only afterwards when his corner, I think it was his corner that woke him up and said, listen, motherfucker, you got to go after him like you did in the first fight. Otherwise, you're going to lose this fight.
And I think that the referee might have, from what I remember, that referee in the second fight might have missed the knockdown.
Yes, yeah, he did.
Hit him with a body shot, right? And
right. It was a good body shot. It was a legit body shot, straight right to the body. But correct. For some reason, it was what's his name? The referee that looks like George W. Bush. Jay Nady. Jay Nady. He does look like fucking George W. Bush. And then there's that was interesting. In 2004, watching Jay Nady referee a fight, he looks like Bush. And then the other referee, Vic Draculich, who looked like fucking John Kerry, and that was when the elections were going on in 2004 in the United States. So you had 2 guys that looked like presidential candidates. All that was missing was fucking Nixon or somebody, and that would have been great, man. But you know what? You can't always get what you want.
Wasn't it Jay Nady, BDA? Maybe you remember this. That was refereeing Trinidad Vargas, and when he took a point away from Trinidad, I think he had taken a point from Trinidad. Besides the 4th round, when Trinidad was in trouble, there was another round, and Trinidad's like trying to explain himself. He's like, Jay Nady like just looked at him and grabbed him. It was so funny. He was like disciplining a child. He said he looked at him, grabbed him, points to the judge, 1 point.
No,
1 point.
I remember that, but I also remember him screwing up the fight because he should have stopped that fight a lot sooner when fucking Vargas was getting his ass kicked. But the other thing,
something. I didn't mean to interrupt you, BDA. That fight should have been stopped in the first round.
Really?
Why? And I'm gonna tell you why. Even though it turned out to be a great fight, right? And I'm happy that they didn't. But the first punch, the fight, that's a concussion. That when somebody goes cross-eyed, that's a damn good sign of something bad happening to someone. He punched him so hard he went cross-eyed.
That's true. Yeah, I do remember that. He was cross-eyed. That's right. I wish we could show the clip.
And what happened was, from the momentum of the punch, instead of it finishing him, it kind of like woke him up. Right? When Trinidad tries to finish him. That was
weird.
So Trinidad tries to finish him, right? Trinidad tries to finish him. And I guess a couple of those punches like sort of like shakes his brain and wipes out the, this fog that he's in, right? Mm-hmm. And allows it, and he's fighting on pure adrenaline. After that, if you really think about it, not saying that caused him brain damage, but it made him fight on instinct, and it's what probably, fucked him up,
Yeah, that's been the argument. They say that, after that fight, Vargas was never the same, and I can't disagree with that. I mean, when he got dropped in his next fight, when he fought the feather-fisted, what was his name? Wilfredo
You know, I know you're talking about Wilfredo Lopez.
I think it was Wilfredo Rivera or something like.
Oh, Rivera.
Yeah. He'd fought Pernell Whitaker and Shane Mosley, and you know he was and De La Hoya. He was a good guy. You know, good straight punches, very good technique, but he wasn't a big puncher. And Vargas ran into a right hand from the guy and just got dropped. And you know when you get dropped and you're on your knees
again.
But the way he fell, Vargas, he was on his knees and he was slanting forward. You know, his balance was shot. So, and that was from a right hand that, I mean, it was a perfect right hand, don't get me wrong, but you had to wonder what the fuck was up with him. And I think you're right because, I mean, the Vargas Trinidad fight, it ended up being a great fight because of Vargas' mini comeback he did and all that. But it's true, the way he was cross-eyed, his balance was fucked. And then the second knockdown in that first round, he just got grazed a little bit. And he flopped on the canvas. Like, I think you're right. I think it actually might have helped him. But man, those are some.
Yeah, it helped him like at that moment, but in the long term of that fight, it was a bad deal. I always remember after the 9th round, just listen to George Foreman. It's like so genuine, right? The Lampley and Merchant were loving the fight, and they're like, and Vargas is coming back. But right after that round ended, right when the bell ended, you hear Foreman say, "Boy, it's getting tough for Vargas." Like, that was a good round for Vargas. And he knew, he's like, it's getting tough for Vargas. Which means that at that point was when he was, like, showing signs of something bad was happening to him in that ring.
Now, people talk about low blows. And they talk about Stevenson against Badu Jack and how Badu Jack, he was hitting low. But, man, come on. Trinidad, in that 4th round when he went down against Vargas, he was hurt, man. And immediately he goes after the fucking balls, man. He doesn't care if he's gonna get a point deduction. He just wants to fucking wreck. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, Bucho, he wanted to survive, and I love Trinidad and still do, but he fought dirty as fuck in that fight. That was a dirty move. He was about to go, and he said, "Nah, I'm gonna slow you down." And he said, "I'd rather take a point deduction plus the knockdown, so that I can recover and you know, slow your momentum down at the same time."
I mean, I liked Fernando Vargas. The guy lacked a bit of boxing skills for me. He always seemed to come short when he was in big fights, didn't he? Just that guy just always come up a bit short, but he always put on a great display. I mean, let's be real. He's one of Floyd's cherry picks, isn't he, on his resume? So, you know, I did like that. Huh?
Did you say what do you mean he was a cherry pick?
Well, Floyd cherry picked Fernando Vargas, didn't he?
No, they never fought.
Fernando Vargas?
Yeah, Fernando Vargas was at 154.
I think you're talking about Shane Mosley.
No, I'm thinking of Arturo Gatti. That's what I'm thinking of. Arturo, yeah, I'm thinking of Arturo Gatti. I remember Fernando, very chubby guy, always looked out of shape. Threw a lot of punches. Threw a lot of punches, though. Threw a lot of punches. He did, and for me, he just always come up a bit short.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned Vargas and Gatti because they were actually very similar fighters in the sense that they couldn't fucking roll with right hands. Yeah, they just couldn't.
That's why I got them confused. But I do because they were from around the same era as well, weren't they?
Yeah. The thing about Vargas, like you said, he couldn't roll with the punches, but he did have fucking good skills. I mean, remember how he outboxed Ike Corte?
Oh yeah,
I remember that fight, man. He outboxed him. He thoroughly beat him.
Yeah,
and he used boxing skills to beat him. And if you look at that, he used nice movements. He controlled the distance of the fight. You went to go in and bully the, you know, not bully, but outmuscle the little guy, the littler guy at that time. So I thought that
he fought everyone though, didn't he?
He was a very good fighter.
He fought everyone though, didn't he? Did. He fought De La Hoya.
He would have been a problem.
He did fight
De La Hoya,
yeah. I remember him fighting De La Hoya. Yeah, I remember that fight. I remember like I said, real tough Mexican, just a bit short, come up a bit short. We're talking about low blows. I just got quickly on low blows. I mean, Recognizer, you probably remember this, innit? Andrew Galata v. Riddick Bowe. I mean,
I was there.
That's low blows.
I was there, Stu.
Was you really, bro?
I swear on everything. I was at the fight.
Pavel,
right there.
Did they look low from where you were sitting?
No. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand what was going on. Didn't look low from where I was at until I watched it on TV. Yeah.
Wait, so you were in the middle of the riot and everything?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Was there a riot there then?
Yeah. Yeah.
I always forget.
I had nothing to do with it. I can tell you a quick little story. I had nothing to do with that riot. But as we were leaving, it turned into like a little. First, it was like a little race war or ethnic war, and then when outside as we were leaving, it was just gang fights. That's all it was.
So was that the first fight or the second fight?
That was the first one at the Garden. It was on a Thursday. That fight happened on a Thursday too. And
ever since then, the whole fucking Madison Square Garden now is filled with security every time they have a boxing fight, right?
I guess I could say it. I was banned from the Garden for a little while until I could prove my case that I had nothing to do with that.
Don't tell me they accuse you of taking a dump in the floor.
I got caught in a fight. That's why. I got caught in a fight. And when at that time they were taking pictures of everyone that were involved. The fight that I got into had nothing to do with a race war or Gillon fans versus Bo fans. That was just some guys wanted to fight with us, and we fought back.
So that's you got the title.
Andrew Gillon beat the shit out of Riddick Bowe that night.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was happening. And from what I can remember too, the people that we were sitting next to, that section, we didn't know what was going on either. We weren't 100% sure what was going on. Why they kept saying low? Well, rather, we didn't understand what low blows they were talking about. We're like, what fucking low blows are they talking about? I don't see that. It looks like body shots hitting him, and he's going down.
Mm-hmm.
They were proper. I tell you what, they were proper. I mean, fucking Riddick Bowe was screaming on the canvas, just tearing out his eyes and all stuff.
Did I have a heart attack or something?
Something happened. I remember, dude. It looked nothing like when I watched it on TV. It looked nothing like what I saw on TV or what I saw live. Excuse me. It just looked totally different, and dude, it was just fucking insane. I mean, when we were walking out the Garden, and there's like everybody pushing into each other. You see like another fight break out there, another fight break out there. Like it's just going back and forth. And then as we getting outside, that's it. That's where all hell broke loose.
Jeez.
Yeah, they were like, "What's up? What's up?" I'm like, "What's up with what? What are you talking about?"
That's how it always starts, huh? That's how it always starts. What's up? What's up?
Next thing you know, I saw him flinch like he was, like the stupidest move you could ever do is when you grab your pants up.
Oh,
right. I'm like, I'm not gonna wait for the second part of it. So
right,
boom! I just get out of here.
That's the worst. When somebody says, "What's up? What's up?" You want to get down, homie. And if it's a homo thug, it could mean something else. So you got to be very careful about what's going on there.
When you're in them arenas, it starts kicking off, and you got your fucking pants hanging down your ankles. How you meant to jump fucking chairs?
Funny too. One of the first guy that came up to my group, and he had like about a good 7 other guys with him. He did exactly that. He said he grabbed his pants up. He said, "What's up?" So I already knew what that means. When you do that, that means you're ready to punch. So I just like hammered him. He was down, and all his boys came in, and we just started brawling. That was it.
Sounds like fun memories.
You should see some of the brawls in the UK. I've had some nasty brawls there, man.
I'm sure, man.
We have some nasty brawls there. A lot of the worst brawls. A lot of the brawls are the ones that are not televised events.
Recognise you wouldn't have had any problems, bro, if X was there on your back.
That's
you wouldn't have any problems. X would have taken them all out, bro. All of them out.
X would have been too slippery.
he would have been on the run again.
X would be in the pen right now because he would have probably pulled a gun and committed a couple of homicides.
I was just going to say that's why Eddie Hearn has so much security at his events because the fighters in the UK have got like football fans behind them. A lot of them. So a lot of them are West. Say if a fighter's from East London, he's got all the West Ham boys following him. Say if like Josh Warrington's from Leeds, is a Leeds fan, he's got all the Leeds boys. And you get two of these guys that got big back and put them in an arena, and they're singing. It's like soccer teams in America. It's not really like that. They'll follow fighters, but they're not going to start fighting over who wins, sort of thing. But in the UK, they fucking do, man. I've seen loads of events kick off, tables going over people's heads and all sorts, mate. Gets nasty.
Dude, at one time, I was crazy enough where I wanted to actually experience a soccer game and the fights that break out there. I actually wanted to just like view it because on TV it looks fucking insane. It was like, what? Yeah,
there's no point in doing that in the UK now, mate. We've got more cameras in the UK than anywhere in the world.
Oh, you guys are living in 1984.
All the football fans that they get banned for life now. The cameras spot them. They can't go. Most of the hooligans can't go, and they've just really cut it out in the UK. If you want to go and see football hooliganism, then go to Poland or Russia or somewhere like that.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, you don't see any of it, man. Like when I was growing up, like I said, when I went to Fratton Park and all that, when I went to the Pompey game, so it was, I wouldn't say it was hooliganism, but there was loads of fights and things like that, away fans and all that. But you see people getting glassed and stuff like that. I see people getting whacked around the heads with bottles and stabbed with glass and shit like that. So it wasn't very nice seeing it growing up, but yeah, Stu's right. You don't see any of that no more in the UK.
I mean, when I was younger, man, the stuff that used to go on. I remember I'd be sitting in the net watching a football team, and the fucking. And this is in the 80s, and fucking they'd be throwing bananas at black players and shit. And nothing happened. You get away, do that now. I mean, banned for life, go jail and shit for it. But back then, they should just do it. And I mean, when Justin Fashanu was the first player he was a black guy. He was the first professional footballer to come out as a homosexual. And he got tortured that much on the terraces by the fans. They actually went and committed suicide. So a few years later, where it got. I mean, they had a song about him, innit? They had a song about him. You could never sing this now. It was he's black, he's bent, his ass is up for rent. Fashion.
Jeez,
fashion. That was the song they used to sing for it.
That's fucked up. You could
never say that now. I mean, football grounds are a lot safer now. You go there and have a nice time now. But back then, there were war zones.
You know what? That's fucked up, but you gotta give credit to these fucking fans. They come up with some creative shit when I don't know how they come up with those chants, man.
Yeah, British fans are quite good at making songs, aren't they? Making songs up.
By the way, just real quick, Hop in the chat room says, in my honest opinion, this channel should interact more with the chat. I agree, but we can't always stop the conversation just to. I mean, there's some real fucking quality. Everybody's fucking funny and makes good comments in the chat room, but sometimes that's why sometimes like Cameron. Sometimes Cameron will stop and say, "Hey, I like." He'll tell us, I saw this. Somebody in the chat room, or Stu will say it. So I do appreciate that when people actually, because I am reading the chat, man.
I'm always looking at the chat. I'm always looking at the chat. Look at it. I do appreciate the chat because the people in the chat, a lot of them are actually very knowledgeable and are actually very good to listen to. It's a shame some of them don't actually come on the show, to be honest.
Right? Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Then again, lately we haven't. We only have 10 spots. Hangout only has 10 spots available, or 9 or something like that. So if it gets up pretty quick, like let's say Precise would come on, Jimmy would come on, and Corruption wanted to come on as well. That's 3 spots gone, and I think it would be full house. So, but yeah,
you should dedicate a little 15-minute section to Q&A from the chat sometime, innit?
Well, let's do it right now.
Good idea.
I don't know, man. I don't think I want anybody sending me questions.
Yeah, Cameron. When was the last time you licked a bumhole, Cameron?
They're gonna make up.
Exactly, man. I don't want any
right before he got on. I'm messing with you, Cameron.
Listen, man, I'm not done that for a long time. Recognise, man. I've got a lot of respect for you, man, but you need to calm it down a bit, man. I've not done that for a long time.
People in the chat room are gonna start making songs about us, just like they did for that gay, homosexual player that killed himself. What are they gonna say about, I don't know? Recognize he used to get to fights against Polacks. Oh, by the way, Polak. What's the?
No.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell.
I gotta say this: they weren't Poles.
Right, that's right. Yeah,
they look like me.
Oh, I see. But by the way, Pavel. I wanted to tell Pavel, first of all, I should apologize for saying the other term. I always mix up Pole and Polak, but I watch too many I watch too many mafia movies.
Look, if you encounter a overly sensitive person, then yeah, you should be concerned. But I don't give a fuck, really.
There you go. And
Yeah,
I
we
just
need
wanted
to calm it down a bit, fellas. So in terms of like talking about what me and my history, we need to calm it. Just keep that kind of low down because actually, the girls listening to this right now, man. So we just kind of need to keep it down a bit. Just kind of forget about everything that's in the past. You know what I mean?
little too
Put
late
her
for
on
that.
camera. And I want,
Wait,
mate, I want to
Cameron,
speak to her.
is she listening to this?
Yeah, man. Right now, yeah.
Put her on camera. And I want to speak.
Cameron is the nicest guy I've ever met in my whole life. Now, with that being said,
Listen, man. In all seriousness, yeah. I mean, I'm actually a good guy. You know what I mean? You know that. Everybody knows that.
Did you tell her? Did you tell her what you told us the other night about you being in love with her and all that? Did you tell her?
I don't remember any of that, man.
Yeah, he's kidding around there.
I've only played.
Stu, man.
No,
By the way,
I'm just joking. He didn't say that. If you're listening, he didn't really say that. I'm just wondering.
Good, yeah. What the fuck is that, man? But everything that they just said was true. Everything recognised and said is true. I am the nicest guy you could ever meet. Fact.
I don't agree with
I'm
that.
also the sexiest. I'm also the sexiest as well. I'm definitely the sexiest panel member anyway.
well, I don't know about all that, but
if you like Zayn lookalikes, then yeah.
All right. But by the way, I wanted to tell Pavel that we were talking earlier about the Brits getting into hooligans, and I think we talked about the Germans and the Turks. But let me tell you something. You people from Poland, especially the ones that live in Chicago and all that, every time Golada would fight and when he would lose, they would go nuts. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but when Golada fought, what's his name? John Ruiz on Madison Square Garden. Two crazy motherfuckers who bend the rules all the time. And it was one of the best fights I've ever seen. I love like sloppy fights like that where guys getting into headlocks, low blows, knockdowns. The trainers get into fights with each other. Stoney, John Ruiz's trainer, gets kicked out of the corner. He actually had to go backstage.
he was a nut job.
He was a nut job, man.
He was a nut, man.
And the Polish fighters were getting into fights with not only other the Puerto Rican fans, but they also actually got, because that was 2004, back when the United States was in military euphoria, the troops. So they had Don King brought in, I think with the Marines or something as a guest or some sort of like section of the army. And the Polish people actually started to get into, the Polish fans apparently got into a fight with them. So these guys are there to, they're being celebrated, thank you for your service. And the Polish fans pick a fight with them. You can't make this shit up, man. So I tip my hat to your country. You produce some quality stuff, quality entertainment. And I don't know what else to say, man. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think Stu said it before that you have some Polish hooligans. If you want to see somebody fight on the stadium, then you go to Poland. Well, that's partially true, yeah. Like today, we don't have as many typical skinheads as we had before. We used to have before, but before, I mean, it was crazy.
I think a lot of Poland, a lot of the working age of Polish men, say that in their primes, a lot of them have moved out of Poland as well.
Like immigration from Poland is a big topic for in Poland primarily.
Stu, I'll just
hang on a minute. They're advertising in the UK. They're advertising jobs to Polish people to come back home to Poland because Poland's quite thriving at the moment. And they need the workers because they're all in Europe. So they're actually advertising for Polish people.
You know what?
On,
if let me tell you one thing. If you are not like overly attached to your home country, if you speak English fluently, if you're not like sort of patriotic and you have nothing that holds you country, then I don't think you have even a single reason you should stay in Poland, really. I mean, especially for economical situation, because right now the economy is pure dog shit.
I'd say one thing I've noticed about Polish people, their fucking English is impeccable, man. But yeah, Cameron, what did you want to say, bro? What did you want to say?
I was just saying, she's fucking texting me now, saying what the fucking stuff, fuck's sake, because I think she had like what you said about her saying, I was in love with her. She just texted me saying what the fuck.
No, I'm only joking. If you're listening, I'm only joking. It's just a little joke. That's what we do on here. We wine people.
Yeah,
if you're listening, Cameron's in love with you. Anyway, so
I just want to say I've got a lot of respect for the chat tonight, because the chat, you know, when we usually talk about me and shit, they usually troll me and that. The chat seems to have grown fond of me, and they're actually very respectful for me tonight. So I fucking appreciate that, man. The chat, man.
Right.
I've got a lot of time for the chat.
I love the chat.
I agree.
Cameron's a great dog. Anyway, so I was gonna say,
great dog. Now wait a minute.
A great man. That's what I meant.
Yeah, what's going on here? You're gonna demean the rest of our panelists. Recognize that's not how it works here.
Cameron's my brother. It's just that he sided up with X, so you know.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm all about I'm all about make love, not war. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Eat ass, not war.
Pavel's English is great. You grew up in Poland, right? Pavel, is that where you're at?
I recognize that they all speak like Pavel. Pavel's intelligent. But they all speak great English, man. It's just
my experience is the same way. Like a couple of guys that I interact with my job, a lot of them come from Poland, and I'm like, so how long you been here? He was like, oh yeah, I've been here for like 2 years. I'm like, damn, your fucking English is pretty goddamn good.
And by the way,
everything you're saying. He's like, no, I speak with an accent. I'm like, dude, you're like 29. You told me you've been here for 2 years and your English is that good. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? Actually, perhaps it has quite a lot to do with Polish schools teaching their English classes. They incorporate American English, both American English and BBC speak, Queen's English, right? Reverse pronunciation. So we just learned that both, and I don't know. I think it's a minority that achieve like really good English proficiency, because there's like no incentives to speak English in our home country. Like we are not any sort of bilingual nation, only Polish. So basically those who emigrate to another country, they tend to speak English pretty fluently. Obviously not all, because, you know, a lot of the so-called working class Polish people that only go to for example, UK to be a kitchen porter or some sort of a tradesman. I mean, I have nothing against those people, but, you know, just because of their socio-economical class, they tend to not have like sort of a great English or great accent. But still, I don't know, my English, I don't know. It came naturally to me since I was learning it as a child, starting as a child, and you know, when you start anything as a child, you learn it really fast. So that's that. I don't think it's any sort of a special feat in my life. You know, it's just a matter of communication. You know, and that's what I'm grateful for, that I'm able to speak to you and talk to you and guys in the chat freely, and that's the most important thing.
So
yeah, man.
I couldn't learn how to speak Polish if my life depended on it. So it's pretty impressive.
BDA, can I just say so? I just want to say something. Right? I was kind of saying I appreciate the chat, right? I kind of take that back for one person in particular, because you got Chris Gonzalez in the fucking chat saying Cameron is a hormone with a mobile phone. Listen, Chris. Come on the fucking show, man. Come on the show, man. Let's have a little chat. You know what I mean?
Well, we have another Gonzalez.
Hey, this is off my back, then.
Well, listen, we got another Gonzalez on the show right now. We got John Gonzalez just joining us. John, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Good to have you on board. Hope you're doing well. Are you still in? Speaking of love, yeah. John, are you still in love right now, or is that over with?
Oh no, she left me like 3 months ago. She dumped me for another dude and got pregnant like a couple weeks later.
Oh, you dodged a bullet there. You dodged a bullet, let me tell you.
I don't mean to lie.
Yeah, she was probably fucking him when I was still with her, so you know.
I wonder
if she gave birth on his chest with a towel.
hey, Gonzalez, consider that his loss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but she got rid of it.
Oh, she did? Oh, she's a...
Trust me, mate. Hey,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
She
like I
probably
said,
didn't
it could have
know
been
who-
you.
She probably it could have been you. Yeah, she probably.
Yeah,
Was,
it could have been you, John. It could have been yours,
Yeah,
bro.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was mine.
By the
Over
way,
a chest and gate, for fuck's sake.
Reverse Lee in the chat room, shout out to Reverse, he says, love is fake, you fools. He says that now, the guy's fucking 17. He's gonna fall in love one of these days, and he's gonna be coming in here singing Van Morrison, and just, you know, singing the praises of this girl that he loves.
The
And
only thing, yeah.
is he really 17? He's not 17.
Yeah, the only thing Reverse Lee's in love with at the moment is his fucking Xbox controller.
well,
John,
who wouldn't, right?
Reverse Lee Ricardo comes across to me as one of these, really quiet guys. So I was the quiet ones. I reckon he's getting pussy every fucking night, to be honest, mate. He's got the girls right out of his door. That's what I reckon.
don't know. Let's be real. He's 5'4". I don't know about.
Oh
that.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good
Nah,
point.
you never
let's
know.
be honest. What blokes at 5'4"? I mean, let's be
No,
honest.
I'm
mate.
joking.
I'm only 5'11".
He's a lovely lad. He's a strange character. I mean, he comes out with some strange stuff. The old brain's ticking in a funny old way in his head. But I like Reverse Lee. He's a good lad.
I bet Reverse Lee's really like 6'4". He's lying.
No, he doesn't sound like he has a 6
No.
his voice, man. That's not a voice coming from a 6'4".
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why Reverse Lee likes all the weight divisions, because he can kind of relate to their size.
Let me tell you something, Reverse is actually pretty witty, so I think, you know...
No, Alter, that guy Nauta, whatever his name is, he's the same.
Listen, Reverse has very good wit, and sometimes you just gotta add something extra to it, and boom, you got tons of girls lined up, ready to fuck you, man. That's all he needs to do. He needs a little seasoning, and I guarantee you he gets fucking girls. Doesn't matter whether you're 5'4" 6'4".
Reverse is the reason.
Seasoning.
Reverse is the reason I get women. Yeah, I mean, a guy kind of, taught me his ways. Reverse, he follows me on Twitter. I follow him on Twitter. He DMs me. He's the reason why I get a lot of girls.
I remember when I was on the show the other night and had that bird round here.
Yeah.
She goes to me. She recognised I was talking. She goes, soothing. Watch the telly and don't worry about that, man. Do you know what I mean? She thinks recognised I had a nice soothing voice. She goes, well, I can listen to him. He's got a nice soothing voice. I was like, you just listen to the telly.
John, man. Stuart, we landed you in it, man. I remember you came on the show and I was like, just make sure you ain't got a scarf around, eh? I didn't realise you could actually hear what we were saying.
Yeah, she was there. And I was like, it's just a little joke. We got
yeah, just a joke. I only strangled my ex with a fucking scarf one time. It was all good.
Yeah, I didn't tell you about. Yeah, I didn't strangle her with a scarf. That's just been made up. I don't know where the scarf came from. I'll tell you what it was. It's because she turned up at my work, innit? I said, "What are you doing here?" She goes, "I've come to get my scarf back." When I left, and that's what. And then I strangled her with it.
Do you know what, man? My ex never gave my clothes back. Before it ended up bad, it ended really bad. And I was like, "Can I just have my clothes back?" She's like, "No, you're not having it back." I was like, "You didn't want anything to do with me, but you want to keep my clothes." So some of these girls don't make any sense, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I mean,
the amount of clothes I've never had, man. I've lost half my wardrobe to girls over my life.
Why do you give girls your clothes, man? What do you need to give them your clothes for?
It's good. It's true, because when you're a bloke, you don't wear their leggings and that. You know what I mean? Do you? You don't wear their bras and shit. So I don't know.
No, I don't say that. Mind if I borrow your skirt for the night? I ain't gonna say that, am I? So
unless you're John Gonzalez, I reckon he would put some girls' clothes on during his fucking sexual antics. I'll tell you that. Fucking hell, he probably puts on a fucking bra and everything, man. He's probably the bitch of
By the way,
playing Queen in the background, isn't
it? Just to tell you something. Shout out to Precise. He's in the chat room. He's talking about Naoya Inoue. Precise started making videos again, and he's going after Inoue. And I gotta tell you, I can't blame the guy. Inoue, look, listen. I don't know if he'll come on later on, but so I don't want to speak for him. But from what I gather, his argument is Inoue is a skilled fighter, but he's nowhere near in the class that he deserves to be ranked top 10 pound for pound. Because that's what we talked about. That's what we talked about last episode, I think, where ESPN and Ring Magazine, they have him rated number 10 pound for pound, and I think that's a bit of a, I don't know.
Really have him rated number 10? Wow. I don't agree with that.
Are we going to get into this topic, are we?
Well, I mean, I think he's got a point. I think these people that are making it out to be as if Inoue is going to ransack the 118 pound division and run through everybody, there's some top quality in that division, and I don't think some of
We
these.
spoke about the last show, didn't we? We spoke about the last show, and Precise brought up some good points saying that, and you know, I agree with what he was saying. Like I said, in Inoue, he's still got some questions to be answered, mostly about his chin and how he deals with fighting on the back foot. You know, he's not been pressured back yet. He's had it all his own way on the front foot. You know, having openings to get his shots off and just basically getting guys out of there. So, you know, you can't really say Inoue is going to run through the bantamweight division when we don't know how he can take a shot, how he can deal with being under pressure, how he can box off the back foot. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what then? Okay, so then, yeah, we did talk about that, but it's a good point because I've had it with these boxing fans that overhype a fighter. For example, Errol Spence, his quality, I agree. But come on, let's not forget the best fighter he's fought so far, Kell Brook, was outboxing him. So I don't understand this thing that people say that he's gonna run through Keith Thurman, he's gonna run through Terence Crawford. He's a good fighter, but when he fights
back. In other words, it's like ease back a little bit. I mean, look.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. I like Errol Spence. I have a feeling he might beat. I would take him to beat Keith Thurman, but I wouldn't be totally shocked if Keith Thurman went in there and outboxed him. I mean, come on. He was getting outboxed by Kell Brook. Not saying Kell Brook is less of a fighter than Keith Thurman, but you know, my point is that there's a way to outbox him. There's obviously a way to outbox him. So,
and Kiwi Box makes a good point in the chat room. Shout out to Kiwi. He says nobody's hyping Jeff Horn, even though he beat a legend. Again, some people are going to say that he didn't beat him, but let's at least give Jeff Horn credit. He did better than most people expected.
He's not getting hyped up because no one thinks he's going to win that fight. That's why he's not getting hyped up. No one thinks he's going to beat Crawford.
Yeah, I don't think he beats him, but I think. Anyway, that's for another episode. I think, but if he steps it up, he could make Crawford's life hell.
He might arguably beat him, but I don't know if he'll beat him. You know?
Right. By the way,
that's probably the best he could do.
Speaking of Precise, we do have Precise joining us.
Dependent upon how you interpret the data.
What's up with all the transvestites in Hollywood, though? Because if you're a postmodernist and you don't have any standards, you're always going to keep moving the goalpost, and you're never going to stick to your own standards because you don't have any standards.
I don't understand how many times do we have to repeat that, because it seems like some people just don't fucking get it. Listen, Precise, thank you for being on the show. Always glad to have you on board. Hope you're doing well.
Thanks for having me. What's up,
Absolutely.
everybody?
And it's good to see you.
What's up, man?
It's good to see you doing videos again. But like Cameron said, we spoke about Inoue versus McDonald and the whole overhyping that's going on. You're back to making videos. People want to check out those videos. Check them out. I was reading the comment section, man. People really fucking love your videos, and I agree. I mean, you really provide some great entertainment with the videos.
Some people do.
Well, I mean,
a lot of people don't.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the Japanese Inoue fans, or not necessarily Japanese fans, but you know how they are.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. Let me just clarify something. I have no problem with anybody's pound for pound list, and if they want to have Inoue on there, that is absolutely fine with me. I have my own set of standards, and I put everybody to that standard, including these fighters that I supposedly love so much. You know what I mean? For me, there are certain things a fighter has to do, and the most important thing is fight people your own size, preferably bigger.
Absolutely, yeah. That's yeah, because he really did overpower McDonald. It wasn't necessarily, look, like you said, it's not like he's unskilled, but let's face it, his skills aren't really up to par with a guy like Lomachenko or Golovkin, or, you know what, I know you guys don't really like him, but Terence Crawford is miles ahead in terms of technique when it comes to Inoue, so let's keep an eye on him.
I agree. Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, the shots that McDonald was landing, what if that's Nonito Donaire or Tete, like he's gonna test his chin. I want to know if he's got a good chin, which is something Cameron pointed out. You know what I mean? And look, I don't know. Like every fighter's flawed. Don't get me wrong, but like he really hasn't. He shows a lot of skill. He's a good fighter, but the test, like he's never really been tested. And how many times have we put guys on the pound for pound list just to see them flop? I'm sick and tired of all the hype. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to jump in quick because Precise brought in Donaire. Donaire has actually confirmed he's moving back down to bantamweight division. So could he be going into the W World Boxing Super Series? He's going back down to 118. He's not been in that division for what, 7 years?
Well, he's
that
shot.
might be too much for him. That might be too much
done.
at this point. Yeah,
he's taking up a spot.
You think so?
He likes the money.
Yeah, it's the money, man. It's the money.
I wouldn't
I think these.
Look, I wouldn't pick him to.
fanboys.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick him to beat necessarily anybody that's up and coming, but if he can make the weight healthfully, he's gonna be dangerous to anybody. I mean, he fucking had Carl Frampton on Queer Street, you know what I mean? So that punching power at 118, that's a one-hitter quitter, man. If he catches anybody at 118, they're going to sleep.
What if he's gonna go in that tournament?
It seems to be the only logical reason, surely. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I wouldn't see why.
Maybe that's his last big cash out.
Yeah.
Right. But why would he? Yeah. So I'm gonna assume that that's exactly what he's doing. He's going to 118 to enter this tournament that should be announced or is going to be announced sometime soon. So I just don't think it's a good idea to lose weight. I don't think it's a good idea to lose that kind of weight.
No, he's a big guy. He's a big guy. Like he was a massive flyweight. I mean, he always used to drain himself down to those weights. I mean, he's older now. I mean, I can't say he can make that weight.
He's got nothing to lose. There's nowhere for him at featherweight at the moment.
No, also,
when he's in the ring, he's 130 pounds. That's 12 pounds. That's not that much to ask necessarily. And he's always been a little flabby. If by some miracle he could lose some of that flab, and he has, if anything, he has a great team of nutritionists. I think he's a snack fighter still. I'm not sure. He definitely was for a while. So if they could put all that to good use, the knowledge, the chemistry, you know what I mean, and he could make the weight somewhat well, I mean, who knows? The guy fought at 108, I believe.
I think that he's definitely good enough to be going into that tournament, and whoever he fights, you've got to give it a shot, ain't you? Because if he lands clean on you, Donaire, this is over.
Well, look
he started at 108. What's he gonna do again? Throw single shots and hope that one of them lands again, like for 12 rounds. Like,
no one's picking him. But his name, if anything, adds value to the tournament. You know what I mean? His name is nothing else.
Oh yeah, it's just the name, but of course.
There's no one else really. There's no one else really putting their hands up to enter. There's a couple of spots there, so why not put Donaire in there?
Donaire's a guy. He rocked Nicholas Walters, man, and that guy's massive. I mean, he can definitely hurt any. Like Precise said, be it's anybody at 118 as long as he's healthy, he can put any of them to sleep.
Donaire, can you imagine Donaire first fight? Donaire v Inoue. What fight?
Yeah, I'd love to see it, mate. If Donaire connects on Inoue, and he probably will, because Inoue's there to be hit big time. Then it'd be interesting to see how he deals with it.
I think with a lot of these Japanese fanboys of Inoue, I don't think they realise how good some of these guys are in this tournament. I think they think he's just going to turn up and steamroll through everyone, and I think they're going to get Inoue's got to be one of the favourites to win it. Yeah, granted, but this ain't going to be an easy tournament for him, man. He's going to have to have 3 hard fights.
I got Inoue winning.
Tete's massive, man.
Yeah, I might pick Tete. I think I'm going to pick Tete. I think to win it, but he's got to be a lot better than he was in his last fight. It was a poor performance. Let's be real. He needs to up the gears in that tournament. That's for sure, and I think he will.
The thing about that performance is that he was made to come forward, and he's not that good at that. He likes to sit back and counter, and him having the height and reach advantage over someone like Inoue, and Inoue being a naturally aggressive fighter, that plays into his advantage, I think, and he might be able to catch him coming in. Yeah, but him having to chase this little guy around the ring, it wasn't a good look for him. You know what I mean?
No, it wasn't, mate. It wasn't. But I agree with you. I knew he's not sort of guy who's going to sit on the back foot and let Tete come onto him. He's going to go after Tete straight away, throw his wide punches, and he could get outboxed from distance. I agree.
Tete wants you to do that.
Yeah.
Do you guys think will probably only fight in Japan, though, throughout the whole tournament?
I knew he's fought in the States before, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Is that Yeah, so there's no reason why it'd have to be in Japan. Japan's there's not loads of money in Japan, is there? Let's be real. A lot more in Vegas or somewhere like that. So I can't see Donaire fighting in Japan. If that fight happened, just as an example.
The thing is, they get paid a lot of money though, don't they? Regardless of where it is, they get paid a lot of money in the World Boxing Super Series.
But obviously, they're going to want to go somewhere to get their money back, and Las Vegas would probably be the best place for a Donaire fight. That's for sure.
What was the money that was on the table for these tournaments?
They all got paid 7 figures in every round.
Whoa.
Right. I remember you was talking about that. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you guys mentioned the money because I mean that's like you said, that's got to be a big guarantee why Donaire is trying to squeeze himself down to 118 because I don't know, but it seems to me, God forbid, I'm not wishing this on him, but it seems to me like he's gonna have some child support payments to make in the future, if you know what I mean. Because people in the chat room are saying, and I agree with him. Like Del Boy says, yeah, Donaire doesn't wear the pants in the relationship, and Overhand says he's cut from the Mosley and Bradley cloth, if you know what I mean. So,
oh, come on, that's just a cheap shot. That's just
he's got decent. His missus isn't the worst looking black woman in the world either. Let's be honest.
But that's not the point. The point is that she looks like she's the type of like she becomes. Every time I see a fighter, and all of a sudden he gets away from his trainer, who just happens to be his father, by the way, and then all of a sudden she becomes the manager, and she starts, organizing stuff in his career. I always become suspect. I'm talking Jane Mosley. I'm talking like Bradley's wife. I mean,
Tim Bradley.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying she's ugly. Not at all. But I'm saying is she looks
ugly.
She is, man. She's really bad.
What are you talking about?
She looks like one of my aunts, dude.
She's massive, man. Timmy Bradley's man. Timmy Bradley.
Let me tell you guys something about Bradley's wife. First of all, she negotiated one of the best contracts in the last 10 years for Tim Bradley. First and foremost. Yeah. Secondly, hold on. Secondly, Tim Bradley explained the situation. He said, look, I could go out and hire somebody else, but why not keep the money in the family? Yeah. And she's done very well by him. Whatever you think about her, physical appearance, and I don't disagree. They seem to have they seem to have a legit relationship, and it's worked out for them. So I'm 100%. I support Bradley 100%, man.
Yeah, me too. I don't think she's as bad as people make it out. I bet
still with him.
All of us on this panel had a lot worse on a fucking Saturday night. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Come on, real bad ones, man. Admit it. Digging that brain, you'll find her.
5 o'clock in the morning.
One girl I was with, man. I look back and I think, why the fuck did I go there? I really do. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with Precise though. I think, like I said, he got a lot of money to fight Manny Pacquiao, and he got a lot.
She got him a $6 million guarantee.
Yeah, exactly.
For every fight on the top rank, like, come on. And Tim Bradley's not even that big of a star.
Was it $6 million?
Yeah,
guarantee.
He got 6. Yeah. I think he got 8 million. Altogether, I think he got 8 million to fight Pacquiao. He got 8 million.
Bradley was one of my favorite fighters.
2.5 million to fight Provodnikov, I think. 2.5 million.
Bradley was one of my favorite fighters, man. Like the last sort of 6-7 years, he was one of my favorite fighters, to be honest.
Let me ask you guys this question. Bradley doesn't fight again, never fights again. Is he a Hall of Famer? Did he do enough?
Yeah. But he's retired. He's retired. He's definitely a Hall of Famer for me. Yeah.
I think so too. Because
let's be real, Ricky Hatton's in the Hall of Fame. He's done more than Ricky Hatton, isn't he?
Isn't Prince Nassim in the Hall of Fame?
He is now. He weren't in there because he killed someone in a car crash. That's why they didn't put him in there, because he killed someone.
Prince Nassim killed somebody in a car crash? Are you serious?
Yeah, he was in his McLaren, fucking killed somebody, man. He went to prison. He was in prison for about, I don't know. I'm not sure. I know he was in there a couple of years, I think.
It's true. Do you remember they were talking about that comeback fight in the scene versus fucking Hatton? 2006.
I think I'd rather see fucking Nigel Ben Eubank 3. Do you know what I mean? Than what's that?
Well, hold on. They can still make Hamed Hatton 3. It just wouldn't be a boxing match. It would be like a fish and chips contest or something. Like who can eat the more food? Who can jam the most food down the fat throats?
No, they should have a cocaine contest. That'd be a great
guys, Rocky Balboa.
That would.
What you said?
No, Precise got kicked off when he's about to say something.
Yeah, people who fell off. Bucho.
Only Precise and Bucho.
Jeez, fuck. All right, he's back. All right, so what are you gonna say, Precise?
I was saying Rocky Balboa's in the fucking Hall of Fame, so fuck the Hall of Fame.
Give me a break. I mean, that's insane.
He's a great. Besides, he was a great fighter. He was a great fighter, man.
He took a good ass whooping, yeah. Look, I understand. He did a lot for boxing from a promotional aspect, as did Donald Trump. Another guy that's just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it is what it is. That doesn't necessarily Arturo Gatti is in the Hall of Fame. Exciting fighter, classic fights, but was he really that good? No, not really. He just brought something to boxing. You know what I mean? So it just because you're good doesn't necessarily mean you get into the Hall of Fame.
I think it's what you.
And a lot of.
Yeah, I think it's what you the legacy you leave in boxing. I think it's more to do with that than what your talent. Because let's be real, who's going to remember Terence Crawford?
Oh no! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! His career's not even done yet. Come on.
But in 15, 20 years, I'm talking about. Who's going to? I know even if he goes on to do great things, he's not going to. I'm not going to remember this guy because he's stunk the joint out too many times for me. I like exciting fighters. I'm sorry, I'm not a boxing snob, a boxing purist.
Oh, wait a minute.
Sorry, I want to see a fight. Sorry, I want to see someone get hurt. That's just how it is.
Spence Crawford. You think Spence is going to be the exciting one in that fight?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think he meant Crawford.
I think Spence makes the fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crawford. Crawford's gonna run like hell. Come on.
Try and see the joint out.
You know something. At first I used to think that Terence would beat him, and maybe he will. I'm not sure.
He may.
But my whole thing is, in terms of like who's gonna stand there and make the fight. No way. If he ran from Posto and he was running. He was running from Posto. Okay, that's not. Oh, great footwork. No,
he ran from Molina, bro.
He ran from
Molina.
What do you think is going to happen when Errol Spence steps in that ring and is just bringing massive pressure? Trying to dig to the body, and if that guy ever develops a great jab, I mean, he's going to run.
Probably.
Well, you know what?
Run anyway.
To your guys, to your point, is Winky Wright in the Hall of Fame? Did he make it last year? I think it was last year, right?
Who's that?
Yeah.
Winky Wright. So
be Hall of Fame.
See, I don't even. To your point, I don't even remember if he was if he was inducted yet or not. But
you could say in his era he was the best junior middleweight.
Yeah, but like
in his era.
But like you guys are saying, he wasn't entertaining. Even when he tried to be entertaining, he started walking people down and everything. It's like it didn't work out. It's just. So yeah, Crawford. It's not about. Listen, for you guys, it's not about accomplishments. The International Boxing Hall of Fame. In my mind, it should be. It should be only let the exceptional fighters in. They let Rocky Graziano in there. I think they let Ignamar Johansson in there and Barry McGuigan. Look, great fighters. Great fighters in terms of they did most than the thousands of millions of boxers that have tried to make it in boxing. But I think that the International Boxing Hall of Fame should be reserved for people like we're talking about. Sanchez.
Barry McGuigan. What you don't realize about Barry McGuigan, like I said, it's more of the legacy left. This guy used to have parade. He had a parade when he won the title. He had a parade, and the whole fucking hundreds of thousands of people. More people went to Barry McGuigan's parade than they did the royal wedding. On the streets when they see when them two are going down the street. More people went to Barry McGuigan's parade than went to see Prince Harry and the other chick, whatever her fucking name is. What's her name?
Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle, that's the one. Yeah. So that shows you what legacy Barry McGuigan left. I mean, fucking, he actually helped bring together Catholic and Protestants for one night when McGuigan used to fight. Catholics. Catholic and Protestant would be in the same arena cheering for Barry, and they'd put their differences aside, and that's one of the reasons why he's in there, because he left a good legacy outside the ring.
When I asked the question about Timothy Bradley, I was asking you guys, like, do you guys feel like he did enough in the ring? Like, I personally think he did. I think he did too.
Well, let's take a look at everybody. Let's take a look at everybody he beat, man. I mean, he went over to England. Nobody knew who he was, and he beats Junior Witter, who was on a roll at the time. So that was a pretty good win. He beat Kendall Holt, who was a massive puncher with that left hook, and he had a couple of wins himself. He was on a string of wins, and Bradley just outworked him.
Kendall Holt had him on the floor twice.
Bad.
Then he beat up Lamar Peterson.
Yeah, he outboxed him. Yeah, outboxed Peterson. The first one to do it ever, and he beat Devon Alexander in the battle for Detroit.
I thought he made Alexander quit. I thought he made him quit.
Yeah, I think so too.
That was one of the worst fights I've ever seen in my life. It was horrible from start to finish.
Yeah,
he beat Marquez, right? I mean, he's got a win over Marquez. He's got an official W with Manny Pacquiao.
He beat Provodnikov at his own game.
Yeah, even if you don't count that win, I mean, the guy went fucking 36 rounds with arguably one of the greatest fighters of all time, and didn't get stopped and had moments like where
that's the only guy that beat That's the only guy that beat Pacquiao.
But then again, it's what we're just saying. what legacy would he leave behind? Not really a crowd favourite, is he? I like Bradley myself. I think if you're going to go on ability and talent and resume, then he's on there, the Hall of Fame list for me every day of the week. But
yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame for me.
Yeah.
So I would have corrected myself. Pacquiao's the only guy that beat Bradley. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, let's be real. Timothy Bradley beat Marquez up, and this was a Marquez that just knocked Manny Pacquiao out. And Bradley beat him up and even hurt him in the 12th round, had him all over the place. So, yeah, he's on it for me. Very good fighter. I just think, I'll tell you what cost Timothy Bradley a lot of fans is when he celebrated the first victory. It left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And he got a lot of shit after that. A lot of people turned on him, which I didn't think was fair. I didn't turn on him, but a lot did.
Yeah, it was the Filipino fans, man. They were furious about what happened there. They should have been furious at Bob Arum, because I think he's the one that pulled I think he was trying to get Pacquiao back into on his feet back on the ground, telling him, "Hey, listen, motherfucker, you're not more powerful than I am." I don't know. That's just my speculation. I got no proof for that. But yeah, Butcher's telling me, "Oh no, Winky Wright hasn't gotten in yet into the Hall of Fame."
Because isn't it? You have to wait 5 years from the last time you had a fight.
Yeah, but what was his last? It was against Peter Quillen, right? His last fight. Let me check it out. Because I thought that was in 2012 or 2013. So, oh yeah, you're right. You're right. If it was 2013, no, it was 2012, June 2012. So it's 5 years. And you know why? You know why they didn't include him? This on 2017 they didn't include him because it was Morales and Barrera, right? And I think they didn't have space for him. Hold on, let me check.
Has anyone has anyone not heard? I mean, obviously it's just been confirmed. I'm not sure you spoke about it off top, but Groves Smith has been confirmed now, isn't it, for the final?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Thank God.
Yeah, because if Eubank had stepped up, the tournament would have been a complete joke.
I was joking on Recognize This channel that they heard us beefing about that, Stu, and they're just like, "Fuck it, we can't be doing this." You know what I mean?
No.
But it was, it was the reaction of the fans. Basically, they kind of threw that out there to see what the reaction would be, and people just weren't having it, man.
I'd say, well, all of us,
a move like that can single-handedly destroy a brand. Tell you.
People were saying that, bro. People were tweeting the Saudins every day, or people at Offload. Everyone was just tweeting and saying, "Look, you can't do this. You know what I mean? It's a disgrace. Eubank got beat. Ruin all the credibility." And obviously, they've just realised that they can't make the fight. Simple as that. I mean, let's be honest, man.
I think Callum Smith had a bit to do with it as well because he refused to fight Eubank.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He said, "I'm waiting for Groves." I'm waiting for Groves. And that's a good thing because, Callum Smith knows that if he fought Eubank and won, no one would give him respect or credibility for winning that tournament. He knows that.
What an easy way to a final. That's like getting in the World Cup, like in the semis, Saudi Arabia, then in the final, Kuwait or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But imagine Eubank would have fought in the final and then he wins. Like, what does that mean? Like,
Bad luck, man. It's a bad look.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, Eubank had his chance. He had his chance. He was a seed, so he got to choose his first opponent. He picked that Turkish bum. He didn't want to test himself straight away. He picked the Turkish bum. Well, he did, didn't he? Let's be real. And then he put him in a situation where we had to fight Groves after that. So that's the risk he took. He went in there. Well, he got schooled for 12 rounds, didn't he? Let's be real. Well, not 12 rounds. I'm not going to be so harsh on him, but
10 rounds.
George Groves beat him up. He hurt Eubank numerous times, and
yeah, he was beating.
I saw 3 knockdowns myself, man. I know they weren't counted, but
I made a video about it yesterday, and I forgot who the hell it was. Somebody was like, "I thought Eubanks won that fight." I'm like, really?
Oh God!
Boxing Truth.
Yeah,
who's the guy who had Danny Jacobs winning 9 against Golovkin? It's probably that guy, isn't it? Who was that on the show?
Trap.
That's the guy, yeah.
Trap is bugging. I mean, listen, man.
And you all know this, by the way. You all know this. That's the thing that got to me.
Nah, but I mean, but I mean, you know what I'm saying, you know? It's just, I think, fucking Danny Jacobs just fucking win, you know, over Golovkin. That's just the fucking truth and fact.
That's a good fucking accent. I don't know who's doing that. But...
You sound more like low place, to be honest.
Shit, my fucking nigga Cameron.
The fuck?
I have no idea what's going on.
I think that's X, man.
Yeah.
Low place.
Ain't no fucking X. Shut the fuck up.
Low place got banned on Twitter. Low place got banned on Twitter, man. His Twitter account got suspended a few days ago, and everybody's going hallelujah about it.
Yeah, what happened to his Twitter though?
I don't know, man. But people have been. You seen it, BDA. I've seen your BDA account get tagged in people's posts about Lopez getting banned and things like that. So quite a few people, the Heyman Knights, on it. You know what I mean? Those accounts are all talking about it. Who's the other ones? Son of Kovalin.
You know the things that have just come out, the virtual reality things that you put over your eyes. Cameron?
Yeah. Sorry, bro. Yeah, carry on. I was on mute.
All right. Low place. You can imagine low place if he could get one where he could just sit in the room with Adonis Stevenson all night. That'd be his fucking dream, wouldn't it? Just sitting there with some virtual reality, pretending Adonis is in the room. I mean, it's ridiculous how this guy keeps going on about Adonis Stevenson. I've been looking in the chat. The guy's he's giving him credit, and what a chin!
His boy. That's his boy.
I mean, he's still saying he's still number one on my pound for pound list. I mean, this guy, man.
Well, he was very disappointed with Badu Jack. He said the low blows he said were unacceptable, and that changed the course of the fight.
But he wasn't disappointed with. But he wasn't disappointed with Andre Ward's low blows versus.
He said Badu Jack's got to go down his pound for pound list for the low blows or something like that.
Badu Jack is gonna put that boy to sleep if they fight again.
It looks like Gavodstik. Is it like Gavodstik's gonna get his hands on Stevenson?
Yeah, he really wants that fight.
Yeah, I say Gvozdek outbox him easy.
I hope Badu Jack is better at finishing in the bedroom than he's in the boxing ring, or he's never going to have children, is he? Let's be real.
Damn. Oh, man.
I don't know about Badu Jack, man. I mean,
he should call himself Badu Anti-Climax Jack, because this guy, man.
He's not had one clear win. He's not had one clear win at elite level. He's not had one clear win. Darrell's his clearest win. Other than that, they've all been, draws, or you can see it going either way. You know what I mean?
He's just the sort of guy that I don't think he could fucking finish his dinner. Never mind a fight. Do you know what I mean? Just.
By the way, Jimmy, if you want to say anything, you can join in.
Oh, what's up, Jimmy, man?
Over here, I'm actually just showing. I would have gone sooner, but I'm showing an apartment. It's a waste of a time. Fucking case showed up, college kid. Oh, me and my friend. Oh yeah, they don't work. Their parents have.
The fuck?
They're hipsters.
Got it. Yeah, but then I have to still, I can't be obvious, so I have to do the whole thing. But anyways, that's why. But they just left. So yeah, no, man, good conversation. Been listening. Yeah, no, you serious? Low Place is still saying after that performance, Low Place is really still saying Adonis is number one pound. Ooh.
Look, listen, people have their, like Precise said, people have their right to their fucking pound for pound. I don't understand why people keep bringing up.
He's actually being serious.
Yeah, he is being serious.
It's almost like you got to step back and say, wait a minute now. What's going on with this kid? I don't know. I'll leave it there. It's just wow.
I mean, the way he was acting on the show, it's as if Jack Stevenson was fucking Gotti Ward or something, man. The way he was hyped after that fight, I was like, calm the fuck on, man. It wasn't that exciting.
And the way he was complaining about Badu Jack's low blows, it was like worse than what Andre Ward was doing to Kovalev. Like, get out of here, man.
And both of them were low blowing, man. Both.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, both of them were low blowing. That's one. And second, it wasn't. That's not why Stevenson started fading out. He's an old man. That's why he's fading out.
Yeah.
By the way,
out because it's Badu Jack's fault for starting off so late. I think he would have did some of that shit early in the fight. He might have got the stoppage.
Maybe, man. I mean, listen.
Stevenson's gonna get washed by Vosdick if he fights him, and more than likely, if he fights Badou Jack is gonna stop him.
Gavodstic, man. Do you reckon load place if Gavodstic beats Stevenson, would have Gavodstic pound number one?
Jesus Christ. Adonis Stevenson was sucking fucking air. I mean, that last round, seriously, Jack just stepped back once, kept him at range, and just tried to light him up. Could have been done, but he didn't.
Yeah, and
he just fucking kept running in with his head, no finishing at all. Kid's fucking, and then Adonis, I mean, he was literally hanging on for dear life. That's pound for pound number one right there. I mean,
pound for pound for shit.
Listen, I've noticed one thing as well after this fight. Adonis Stevenson's forgot how to say Tony Bellew in English, isn't he? Not heard his name since. So he knows.
He's a fucking, I think Kenny
Bellew would smash him all over the place. Bellew would smash him all over the place. I said that
cruiserweight, yeah.
Yeah,
200 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, if he drains him back to
I think it was
Tony Bellew, he could never.
I agree with Kenny. Oh, I'm sorry.
His fucking head's 175 pounds now, so how's he going to make fucking? Do you know what I mean?
By the way, man, I want Bellew to retire, man. Please, for the love of God, retire.
The thing is, I don't like about Bellew. He thinks he's this star now. Where I'm only chasing the big. That's why he's going at Tyson Fury. He wants Tyson Fury next, doesn't he?
Yeah, did he tell him I'll punch you? He wants to punch him in the face.
Them two are at each other, bro. And that's going to be next fight. You can imagine.
I think that'd be a mistake for Bellew.
After Fury's had a couple of warm-ups or whatever, you can bet your life this time next year, Bellew for Fury. You bet your fucking life it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Even at the end of this year, maybe. And because the way Bellew's talking, the way Fury's talking, Bellew's he just thinks he deserves big pay-per-view fights now. It's gone to his head.
Mm-hmm.
Like Usyk and Gassiev, they're beneath him now. Do you know what I mean? That's the way he's probably thinking. What a wanker.
Not a bully, they aren't.
Tyson Fury, I know that. I know that. Tyson Fury will play with him.
Do you think
I don't want to see that fight.
Was that Pavel?
Do you think that Fury Bellew would be a pretty big fight money-wise in the UK?
Not massive, I don't think. Anyway.
Trust me, it'll do all right.
Don't
do you know why?
Payday.
It will do because the build-up to it will be so exciting. People
That's right.
Pay for it.
I'm bored, man. I'm bored of both of them right now, man. Fury's talking about Joshua Wilder. He's not even fought yet. Bellew's talking all this shit. Oh, I can't stand it. I've actually got Tony Bellew and Tyson Fury's muted words on Twitter, so I don't see any tweets about them until they're actually fighting. You know what I mean? Because the guys just bore me talking, man.
Well, you know what? You're bored because you're knee deep into pussy right now. But like Stu said, I think that fight, would make, because again, come on, guys, it's two big talkers. They're not the most entertaining guys out there, especially Tyson Fury. But that build-up, man.
Let's be real. Bellew hated well, and David Haye, what's he done in the last 3 years?
That's true.
If they build a ward in Canastona for fucking people who talk their way into a big bank account, that motherfucker's a first ballot. Bellew, he's taken very little and brought it to a fucking pretty big financial gain, huh? You got to give that knucklehead credit there.
And what do you guys think about Bellew saying that he could smoke Tyson Fury?
Oh, Jesus.
This has gone to his head. I told you that there's no limit. There's no limits to how far Bellew's ego will grow. He's going to be in the clouds soon, right? This guy.
If Fury knocks.
Oh, jeez.
He thinks he's going to knock Tyson Fury out. It's in his head. He's a confident man. I'll give him that. But let's be real. Just because he beat up an old crippled Forrest Gump David Haye. Let's be real. Doesn't mean he's going to do the same. Look at the size difference. How's Bellew going to get inside for a start?
Mm-hmm.
I think the only way for Bellew to win is Fury injuring both of his Achilles in the fight. I mean,
do you know what, man? I think it does more annoying about Bellew, man, is how he talks about, I'm going to invoke my WBC Emirates title thing and fight the winner of the World Boxing Super Series. You're not going to do that. You're never going to do that. He doesn't want any of that work from either of them guys. He knows you lose.
Who's Bellew?
Yeah, he's talking about.
I got dropped off.
Yeah, he's talking about he wanted to fight the World Boxing Super Series winner, and that was never going to happen, man. He doesn't want
cruiserweight.
Yeah,
in cruiserweight.
I don't think
Get the fuck out of here.
He's talking shit. He's talking shit because
sorry.
He's talking shit because both of those guys said that they're moving up after that fight. So it's easy for him to talk shit when he knows the fight's not happening, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't beat either of them, man. He wouldn't beat either of them guys.
No.
I'll tell you what, though. The thing about Tony Brewer, I'm not going to write that guy off anymore. I'm not going to pick him to beat Tyson Fury this fight, but I'm not going to write him off where he's got no chance because this guy just keeps proving me wrong.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll pick McAboo to beat him and Hay to beat him. Sorry. Yeah.
In the chat room, Ira Core says Fury gets way too much credit for beating Klitschko.
No, I was gonna say, you said Bellew proves you wrong all the time, but he's fighting fucking a guy with no legs every single time.
I know, but I still picked David Hay to win the first one. Like I said, I didn't fancy him against. I didn't fancy him.
Nobody picked Bellew, bro. Nobody picked Bellew.
Exactly. Makubu as well.
Yeah, Makubu, yeah.
Makubu, whatever you want to call him. There's other fights as well. Cleverly 2 fight. I picked Cleverly to win that.
Yeah, so did I.
Do you know what I mean? So I
think I even gave Masternak a chance of beating Bellew, for God's sake.
But hey, listen, he didn't. He looked. He's the type of guy. He doesn't look sensational. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the strongest puncher. So I can understand why we all underrate him a little bit. But
the guy's resume is quite a blind. I mean, you look at his top 3 wins. His best win is, Hay, who was shot. Macabu was a legit win. Cleverly, who wasn't even a cruiserweight. He was gassing after 6 rounds. He still couldn't get him out of there. You know what I mean? So, over McKenzie.
I think Tony Bellew has improved a lot, though. You can't deny that this guy's not.
No. He's a credible opponent at cruiserweight for anybody. You know what I mean?
I agree, 100%. Not saying he'll beat Gasev and Usyk, but he'll be a lot harder fight than a lot of them guys in that division. That's for sure.
Yeah, he'd give both of them a good fight, but I don't see him winning the fights.
Tell you what, if he lands clean on him, I think he could take him out. But he's got to land. The problem, I don't think Bellew would fancy it because I think for a start, I can't see him. Gassiev would have to probably fight in Russia, wouldn't he? I don't see him going to Russia anytime soon. And I'm not sure about Usyk because he's not. Has he really got a strong base in the Ukraine? Usyk?
Yeah, he has. I mean, it was the guy. I was listening to a Ukraine guy on a podcast who's big on the Ukraine boxing, another podcast, and he says there's billboards of Usyk around the Ukraine and things like that.
No kidding.
So, yeah.
So they got billboards of Usyk's crazy psycho face all over the country.
Yeah, Usyk's got billboards of his face and all that. Like, he's quite a big star over the Ukraine. But the problem is they don't have a pay-per-view platform in the Ukraine. But he is a big star over there, apparently, according to this Ukraine guy.
He might be.
I agree with you, dude. He's a
Lomachenko.
What was that, Jimmy? Jimmy, what were you saying?
Oh, nothing. I was just going to agree with BDA, man. I think he's a creepy-looking dude, man, with that fucking weirdo haircut. When he had, oh, my God, looked like that dude from the old Ramones album, the Yada Yada Yada. The wicked special needs, the pointy head.
And the gap in the middle of his teeth, man. The gap in the middle of his teeth as well, yeah.
Oh, what a fucking dude. I wouldn't let that kid in their fucking schoolyards. He'd get cuffed up.
Seriously, he walked that. It's obviously he's got rid of that hair now. But what about I know you were talking about when he went to turn pro and he literally had that one long bit of hair on the top of his head, didn't he? Fucking shaved.
He looked like a fucking deranged man. I'm telling you.
I think that hairstyle is he's paying a homage to all the Ukrainian medieval fighters that were hailing from the Ukraine. So
get the fuck out of here.
I'm very feel. Do you remember that fucking thing?
Paying homage.
Love it.
He does look the part, man.
He's
never mind. I was gonna say.
He looks like a cruiserweight Ivan Drago, doesn't he? Just built like a tank, pretty boy.
That guy's can do heavyweight, man. That guy's gonna go heavyweight soon.
Okay, but
do you think
speaking,
his power is going to be enough at heavyweight though?
No, he's not a big puncher at cruiserweight. He's not bigger than Gassiev. He's not bigger than guys like that.
I think the heavyweight division. I think lack of power can be a real problem in that division.
Listen, guys, he's 6'3", probably could make 225, man.
He's 220, I think. 220, I think he is on Fight Night.
If he could come in 6'3", 220 in the ring, 225, I could see him outboxing and beating the shit out of a lot of heavyweights.
But could he? How would he last against the guys like, bigger guys? Like Wilder, Joshua. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, even
if they connect on him, he's in a lot of trouble.
Even that Nigerian kid who fought, do you guys catch that knockout yet?
Yeah, 30 seconds. Yeah.
I know it's only 5 fights, but you can see, dude, he's got good balance. Yeah. There was no, you know what I mean? That was a nice thrown 1-2. I mean, he lined him up and crack. And so they're all high on him out of the gym down there. Ronnie Shields is real. I was reading interviews.
He wouldn't dare try that against a big puncher, though.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys on the panel. I just want to know your opinions. If Usyk moves up and say he fights Povetkin, who would you pick to win that one?
I didn't hear the opponent.
Usyk. At this point, I'll pick Usyk to outbox.
I'll pick Usyk as well. Everybody's dropped off, but I'll pick Usyk.
Yeah.
All right, so just to recap, the question was Usyk, Povetkin, who wins? Who would you favor? Yeah, who would you favor? So let's wait till everybody gets back. I gotta call some people back. No, that's nice. That's an interesting question. I was gonna suggest Gillon White, but I think Povetkin is a better.
No, yeah, Povetkin's a much better opponent.
Bigger fight as well, much bigger fight.
Look, Povetkin arguably lost to Huck, and we also what Usyk did to Huck. I know it wasn't the same version of Huck, but still, the performance level was on another level. I don't know, but the heavyweight division, 5 years is gonna be hot as hell, man. All these guys that are coming up right now, there's some really good fighters. Maybe not even that long, but there's some really good fighters coming up.
I agree with Precise. Next 3 years, you're going to see that division get hot. And I'll tell you, and I also agree with both of you, his power, where he's not a big puncher, cruiserweight. And the thing is with those big boys, if you don't, you can look good, you get all the flash, you can out jab them. They got 12 rounds in a big fight to land that one big shot if they're not respecting your power. So you know what I mean? If he's taking on, when you start talking to big guys, that lack of power, I think, would be an issue.
Anthony Joshua was respecting the last 2 opponents he fought. He was respecting their power, like as if they were throwing fucking hammers in there. And neither one of those guys is really a big puncher. So
I agree.
You put a lot more skill, trickiness, southpaw stance, speed. He's gonna be respecting somebody like Usyk. I don't give a shit what anybody says, man. He's not gonna walk through him because he's gonna be walking into left hand.
Oh,
that's gonna
no, that's not what I'm saying. He could even win the fight. I'm just saying I agree with you, guy. When you said earlier, it could be an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you not carry that heavy, the punching power up there, those guys can bang. That's a big difference.
Nobody can take Joshua's power, bro.
Punch, you know what I mean?
What's that?
Can Usyk take a heavyweight punch? Who knows, man?
Well, who can take a punch from Joshua? Honestly, who could take a punch from Joshua?
No,
who can take a punch from Wilder?
I could take it, but you're right. Other normal people can't just take that shot flush on the face.
He couldn't hit Parker very well.
That's
Joshua,
right.
He couldn't hit him
flush, but it looked like Parker wasn't even that scared of
Joshua looked disinterested.
Parker hurt Joshua more than the other way around.
That's true.
Joshua was hurt 2 or 3 times in that fight by Parker, who's a big puncher, but nothing spectacular.
You know what? Usyk should if he does win against Gassiev, he should start out slow at heavyweight and take on Gillon White, see what happens there. And then if he looks impressive or as impressive as you guys think he can look in there, then fuck yeah, put him in there against the top 5 guys. But
no, before that, you know what, BDA, he should take on an opponent that's tall, not a good opponent, but just somebody that's tall. Because
David Price.
Nah, he needs to go straight for the top, man. Go straight at the champion. Fuck all that. No need for. Because Joshua's only getting better, man. Go right at Joshua. If he wins and he's the undisputed champion, he becomes the mandatory anyway. So why wait?
So you're saying Usyk to go right at Joshua coming right into the heavyweight, huh?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Don't show him anything. Don't show him any vulnerabilities. Don't show him
Right.
nothing. Just
That's
go in
smart.
there, element of
Yeah.
surprise.
That's actually that's actually very intelligent. That's a good ploy. Yeah. Why exactly? Yeah. If you're gonna do it, he's already got the skill. I mean, there's not a guy his size with his skills. You know what I mean?
And if we're saying can he take that punch, well then maybe Dillian White will knock him out, and that's all she wrote. You know what I mean? Fuck it, just go after it, man.
Really,
you could always come back.
Exactly.
You could always
exactly.
come back.
And why look? What you might as well get the big pay for the higher risk.
And it seems like Joshua has understood that he has to lose a little bit of muscle. Because I think against Takam, he weighted in at his heaviest at 260 or something.
Yeah,
it's that he loses with the muscle. He's a bodybuilder, but he's starting to look like a bodybuilder. I know he's 6'5", 6'6", and he weighs 260. That doesn't sound like a bodybuilder type per se, but his look at his fucking his biceps. Dude, he's like fucking Hulk Hogan. He got like 24-inch pythons or something.
I think
Who are we talking about?
Joshua, I believe.
I'm talking about Anthony Joshua.
And I was going to say, like to your point, the more muscle mass you carry, the more oxygen it takes to pump through. Right. You know what I mean? The more mass, the more oxygen, the tighter you get. I personally think he carries a little too much mass in his shoulder girdle. I think he could lose a little mass to his shoulders.
The thing about muscles, like big fucking muscles in a boxing fight, big muscles in a street fight is fine. You know what I'm saying? Because it usually ends quick, right? And if you got big muscles and you know how to throw a punch, you might knock your guy out in 30 seconds or 10 seconds.
Kimbo Slice, right?
Right. But take it to a 12-round fight. Take it to a 12-round fight. That's when your arms start getting heavy, and bodybuilding and boxing together in terms of a 12-round fight really doesn't go hand in hand. It just doesn't.
When your biceps are too big, you can't even throw straight shots properly.
You know what?
Can't throw the nice jab, straight jab, or nice straight right. You can't do it because you miss it.
If it wasn't for the
my goodness gracious, this is starting to get ridiculous. People dropped off again. Anyway, all right. So
you're right. You're right, BDA though, because when it was just a few of us at the start, nobody dropped off. It's when you got a lot of people.
Let me just. All right. So it was Recognizing Matrix was gonna say something. So let's just wait till we get him back here, and I invited him back because for some reason I send him the link and it doesn't work.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, don't worry. So what were you saying?
No, I was gonna say that if it wasn't for you ever look at Anthony Joshua's fucking hands?
No, I haven't.
Well, when he's doing interviews and he's doing, like interviews with obviously with no gloves on, no rapping, his fucking hands are huge, man. They're fucking dense and big. So that's where a lot of his power is coming from, right? Obviously the shoulders and everything, but if he was to just calm down with the curls that I'm sure he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Calm down just a little bit so he can have some speed to that. He'll forget it. He'll knock out anything he touches.
You know what? And I'd like to expand on what Recognize said on those Joshua's biceps. What I noticed is that guy cannot close his guard properly. He cannot, keep his hands at all times like comfortably. His right hand beside his chin, and I mean the dude just looks huge and just overly huge even for a heavyweight. I mean, when I saw him at the Olympics, he was a lot leaner, and he was, looking like a heavyweight fighter, proper heavyweight fighter, not like a bodybuilder. And I think that just because he was, promoted by Eddie Hearn to be that, role model and, that fucking Greek god, looking
poster
like
boy.
Yeah, poster boy, exactly. So that's why he just took hold those steroids.
He's into that pretty boy look, and he's got to realize, man, that's not going to work It's not. It's working so far for him, but you know, it could potentially be a problem for him later on.
And the older you get, the more your muscles get dense. So there's the reason why back in the Olympics he looked leaner. His muscle bellies were leaner. As you get older, they get rounder and more dense. But I can speak. One thing I can tell you, and this is an opinion, I can tell as fact. When I threw punches, when I was jacked, it absolutely hampers you. 100. I know because I can tell you from fact, because I threw punches my whole life, and I hit harder, probably 20 pounds lighter than my biggest. And at my biggest, I was 5'8", and my arms were bigger than Anthony Joshua's. So you know what I mean? I mean, and without a doubt, I hit not as hard. I couldn't. I mean, every part of it, it was terrible. If I would have gotten into an actual ring, I'd get slaughtered, picked apart.
Dude,
but but I'm not saying that's what Joshua is. I'm just saying there will become a time if he gets bigger, become an issue. But just the sheer weight of those big ass arms and his shoulders, has a lot to play.
You know what?
When I was slimmer, to I'm sorry, Pavel, just to add.
Yeah, sure.
When I was slimmer,
You're cutting off, man.
You're cutting off, man.
You're cutting off. Yeah, you're cutting off. You cut off, rather.
I'll say this much about Joshua. Like, his form and technique is surprisingly good early on in fights, but if it's a tough fight, he falls apart, man. He starts swinging wildly, slapping. Like, his form goes to shit if it's a tough fight. So,
you guys hear me?
Know, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry about that, man.
Don't worry about it.
I was just gonna say that when you're lean, when you're slimmer, when you have slimmer arms, right? I mean, they can still be muscled up. You just have slimmer arms. The speed, man, it's the speed of the way you throw proper punches.
Yeah, that's
the snap, because Jimmy said that he punched harder when he was slimmer. You know something? So did I. The same thing. It wasn't that it was fucking much harder. It was just that it got there where the whoever I was fighting couldn't see it. They couldn't see the punch coming. And, you know, if you got some nice size to you, you got nice decent hands, you're going to do a lot of fucking damage.
And you know what? You know what? I'd like to expand on what you and Jimmy noticed is that I totally get where you guys coming from, because there is a topic in sports science. There is a thing called relative strength to your body weight. And what it is basically is just imagine Olympic weightlifting, right? There is a Chinese guy who lifts weight at a 77 kilogram weight limit, right? And he snatches a barbell that is 210 kilograms in one motion, right? And he weighs 77 kilograms. And there is a guy in an open limit weight class, you know, the biggest one, who snatches like 250. So of course the bigger guy will be the stronger one rather than the smaller one. But the discrepancy between the weight, even though the smaller guy is, you know, smaller, so he will snatch the lesser weight, but the actual weight is comparable. And, you know, it's just, you have to find that sweet spot that will carry you in terms of relative strength per your body weight, per your body pounds. How much do you weigh? So, you know, when I see Joshua and when I see him getting as big and as strong and as muscular as it possible, I think is going to hurt him in the long run. Because, you know, when from my experience, when I fought at flyweight in the amateurs, hey, fuck, I was the strongest puncher. And, you know, I was a bit of a weight bully because I'm 5'7", a taller guy in that weight class. So I could drop down. But still, you know, I have long arms, so those straight punches have so much leverage. And I felt so much power, rather than me sparring a guy who was like 150 and I was like 130 something. I felt, you know, weaker. So I get where you guys coming from.
That's interesting. That's an interesting.
That's the point, man.
Yeah, listen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
I was going to say, to touch on what Precise said, he said exactly. As the fight goes on, he becomes more wild and starts. That's the first thing you usually do when you get winded. You lose your technique. You know, in all sports, once you get, you do everything a little shittier once you start getting sucked in wind. And I haven't seen him really look spectacular other than Joshua. I mean, against Klitschko, but I mean, it was a 40-year-old man. He looked great. He did knock him out, but. He also got seeded, and he was also probably in the best shape of his life. I just think he has a little too much mass. I think honestly, he needs to lose 15 pounds in his shoulder girdle.
Yeah, because can I expand? Just I'm gonna say one thing. Can I expand on that? Because it's just about the endurance. Boxing is an endurance-based sport. I don't care how much of a power do you have. And still, boxing is an endurance-based sport. Even though in between there are, spurts, those rapid spurts of energy, as you're throwing the punches. But I bet, Jimmy, as you are the coach, what you teach first to your fighters is that you gotta have the endurance in the amateur fight, because without it, you cannot go anywhere else.
It's roadworks there. It's the key. That was what made Mickey. That was the key. He never did anything better than anybody else. Well, other than body shots, it was always you were just never going to be in better shape than him. He just went into the fight.
Sorry, who's Precise? I think you're making. Could you mute your mic, please, Mike? Precise. I think he's getting dragged.
There's a tsunami just hit Ecuador.
Yeah, I think he got attacked by a bunch of mountain people, and they're dragging his body up the mountain.
Okay. I don't think that was me. There's nothing going on over here.
I think he's right. Well, hold on. All right, it's gone.
Cameron, actually.
It's not me, man. It's always me that gets the blame, for fuck's sake.
It sounded like somebody.
It's only because you muted yourself and it stopped. That's why.
It sounded like somebody was wiping their ass with sandpaper. I don't know. That's just my experience. That's what it reminded me of. Listen, who was talking? Was it Pavel or was it Jimmy?
It was
Fuck my memory, man.
Oh, I was just saying about Mickey. That was the key to him. His success was his conditioning, because he knew he wasn't faster than anybody. He didn't do anything other than the body shot better than usually anybody. But he just always knew I was going to be in better shape. That was his mindset. And I'll tell you, I played even hockey at a pretty junior level, which is pretty high. And nothing. And I've wrestled in high school, but nothing compares to boxing. Nothing will make your lungs burn. Then because you can't tag in, there's no taking, jumping on the bench. It's just you. There's nowhere to go. It's just 3 minutes. It's a tough thing, man. It really is. Yeah. I give a lot of credit to those guys who go those long distances.
Well, to Pavel's point, he said that this is an. Well, yeah, go ahead, Stu.
I was just going to say, the funny thing is, I don't know what it is, whenever Anthony Joshua's name is mentioned now, all the energy just saps out of me and all the desire to stay awake.
Yeah, people in the chat room were saying the same thing. Hey, and by the way, Pavel, who was it that said, people in the chat room said that you're a weight bully, and Overhand Right, I think it's Overhand Right was calling you Pavel Herd. That's going to be your new nickname, Pavel Herd.
you guys in UK.
Stu, you fighting at flyweight? You got a fucking massive advantage.
Stu, now you guys tired of Jake? You're right. Tired of Joshua? Why is he like over? Shoved down your throats down there?
Yeah, it's all
too much. You know when your mate's just been dumped by his girlfriend and he just don't shut up about, I don't know what I did wrong. He just goes on and on and on. And you,
sorry.
That's what it seems like to me.
Come on, man.
Joshua, it feels like, hang on a minute, I just can't. I don't know what it is. It just drains the energy from me. It's just bored. How many hours of my life?
Out of it, you pussy.
I've been there before, bro. Like, it wasn't that long ago. My mate was talking to me about his girlfriend all day. He was just completely talking about his ex to me all the fucking time. And this is what it feels like Stu said. Like, the moment you bring up Joshua or Marder, it's just like, here we go again.
It's like someone just fucking. It's just like someone just.
I'd rather someone hit me on the side of a hammer, on the head of a fucking hammer or something like that.
Dozing off sort of thing. It's just, it's hard. I don't know. I've just lost the enthusiasm for Josh. All this Wilder talk.
You in Joshua land. That's what it is. You guys are,
I don't even think it's that. I just think it's the internet. You can't get away from it. Everywhere you go, there's wild.
Everywhere you go, yeah.
It's draining me, man. I don't even care to see this fight. I'd rather him go and fight someone else.
All right, then stop talking about it.
Was there a little dog whistling going on when he was like, I don't care, fuck off? I don't see these videos no more.
It's Maybach all over again, man.
Deontay
Wilder.
Deontay Wilder with brutal response to Joshua.
And it's like, and then you think it's like something brutal, and it's like, hey, $50 million on the table, take it or leave it, punk.
No, it's like Joshua. You see all these fucking outlets of people saying Joshua lays down the challenge for Wilder UK clash, and you're like, for fuck's sake, man, you know what I mean? It's the same shit every day. And then it comes out of Eddie Hearn saying, oh, most likely gonna be Povetkin next. Then they're still talking about, you know, if Wilder comes back in time and says, you know, he wants to fight, we'll make the fight. This fight was never going to happen this year. It was never going to happen.
They don't want to fight Povetkin. That's what's going on here. They don't want to fight that.
They got no choice. They got no choice, though. If they don't fight Wilder, they got no choice, man. I'd rather see the Povetkin fight anyway, to be honest.
Damn, Deontay Wilder's probably saying to himself, man, fuck, I better fight. I better take the offer Anthony Joshua has, because I'm going to have to, later on in the future, maybe there's a good chance I might have to face Povetkin if he beats Joshua.
Yeah.
And then you got it the other way. Then you got it the other way around. Joshua's like, oh shit, I better make this Wilder fight, or someone have to fight Povetkin. You know,
there's no way Povetkin's going to beat Joshua in the UK. Let's be honest, man.
I don't
they won't let that happen.
I don't think he will.
No.
It's still a risk, man. It's still a risk. You know,
it is. I guess it is. Yeah.
Povetkin needs to. Go ahead, recognize.
No, I'm just that's all I was gonna say is that it's still a fucking risk. You know, the guy does get tired, man.
Look, if he does beat him, he fails a drug test. I mean, you already know this.
You know what I hate about like you get, first of all, Povetkin, before you start mentioning him against Joshua or against Wilder, he needs to rematch David Price, because the way people make it out in the internet is that he was in a tug of war against David Price and he just got caught with a fucking left hook. But anyway, look, listen, the other thing I hate about these YouTube videos, the clickbaiting that goes on with YouTube boxing videos, is like when they put in parentheses, wow, exclamation point, you won't believe what Eddie Hearn just said. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna believe it, because otherwise you would have seen that shit in a reputable news source already, a headline. You know, this, wow,
listen,
you won't
man,
believe it.
Listen, I'm tired of those clickbait titles that, oh, Deontay Wilder's response. Deontay Wilder is gonna say this and is gonna say that, and listen. While the half of the video is Deontay Wilder smacking his lips. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. You know what, guys? I'm calling it right now. Don't be surprised if this year the fight still doesn't get made, and there's somebody, the press or whatever, they hire a gypsy witch, a gypsy sorceress, and she goes over and she collects a stool sample of Anthony Joshua, and she like analyzes it, and based on the curvature she can tell you whether she's gonna fight him or not. Like, oh shit, it's reaching that level. It's insane, and that's why Butcher and myself were starting to think to maybe
it is getting ridiculous. It's like you get someone like Travis Scott in it, Wilder seen leaving his apartment early in the morning on the way to sign negotiations with Joshua. You know, he's gonna get some milk, that's where he's gone. You know what I mean?
Oh man, it's ridiculous. That's why Butcher and myself, we want to maybe implement a no Joshua Wilder talk unless the fight gets made.
Please, BDA, please do that.
Just like we did with the Fury, until he came back or announced or something, we weren't going to talk about it.
You need to do Canelo and Golovkin too as well, because that's not happening.
Yeah, the words Joshua and Wilder, it's more toxic than slick in this hangout, isn't it? Let's be real.
Absolutely, great point. Great point. By the way,
he ain't got no $1 billion, though. He ain't got no $1 billion. He ain't got no $1 billion.
Yeah,
I'm surprised we ain't got the Trump to fund Deontay Wilder Joshua fight, something like that, you know.
Hey, why didn't go? This is a real question. I don't know, because I'm not familiar with the whole Jack Johnson story. Why didn't Obama pardon Jack Johnson?
I don't know.
Because Obama probably looked at it and said, "This is not important to me." That's it.
Let's be real. I mean, you're talking about a homosexual that's got a transgender wife. I'm not sure boxing's going to be top of his list.
Oh man, you had to go there.
Jack Johnson. There's conflicting stories that he was a very violent person towards women, and there's also stories that he was wrongfully convicted of whatever the fuck it was that he was convicted of. So
let's be real. Yeah, let's be real. He should be cleared. You know, he didn't do much wrong. It's not a crime. Back then, you couldn't do it. So it's like we could do something now. We could go to prison for something, and the way things are going. And if you do it in say 50, 60 years time, it's a minor crime that you're not going to jail for. So it's the times.
Deontay Wilder, Stuart. This is what it came down to. Deontay Wilder went to go meet the president because it's a perfect opportunity. It is exactly what it is to get some notoriety, some fame.
Yeah,
that much people know who Deontay Wilder is now.
Yeah, like I said though, it just made me laugh. Eddie,
Jack Johnson's been dead for it's not centuries, but for decades. Okay, he's been dead many decades.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a good thing that Trump did. I mean, Trump can't do anything right. You know, he does something good for an old school black fighter, and he's only doing it to get the black people on side. He can't do anything wrong. Let's be real. Obama didn't even think about Jack Johnson, wouldn't know who he was. So at least Trump had the decency to do that. I agree with Recognize. I think it's a very good move to go and see the president. You know, in the day, Deontay Wilder don't owe these fucking people anything. He's got to be starting looking after.
If Deontay Wilder got knocked out, the same people that would criticize him for supporting Trump or whatever it is, it wouldn't matter. If he got knocked out tomorrow, they'll shit all over Deontay Wilder. Yeah,
they'll find another hero. They'll find another like they did when they got Rigo lost. They soon left him, didn't they? You know what I mean? So they'll do the same to Wilder. Wilder's got to think of himself. Donald Trump's the president of the United States. It don't get no bigger than that. Do you know what I mean? So, and let's be real, Wilder, I think it was a good move by him. I really do. And people need to get to know this guy. He's the heavyweight champion of the world from the United States, and he can barely sing out a bingo hall, for fuck's sake.
He's not getting any help anywhere else.
That's right.
I mean, these people that are sucking up to Wilder, and you know, calling him the greatest ever, and all, you know, people like X and people like that, right? They're not paying for the.
By the way,
pay-per-view fights.
By the way, do you think
they're not really supporting the guy? They're talking a lot, making a lot of videos off his name and bigging him up, but they're not putting any money in his pocket. They're not buying his fights. They're not traveling to the Barclays Centre to go and see him. They're staying at home with their free streams. So,
that's right.
You know, I watched the video. I won't say his name because I don't know how people feel about him. I'm not even sure how I feel about this person. He made a video. He did an interesting comparison of Deontay Wilder.
You're breaking up there, Recognize. I think it's because are you walking?
How about now? No, I'm outside. That's why I should go back in. I was walking my dog. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So anyway, I saw this video, and the guy made an interesting comparison to a very well-known political regional battle in a certain part of the world. And I thought to myself, damn, that's right. He's 100% right. Regardless if I agree with him on most videos or what his main point of the topic is, that comparison that he made, I guess I could say he made a comparison to how Israel can't do no wrong when it comes to the Palestinians. Okay, and he compared the two, like Deontay Wilder's fans, and how he could never do anything wrong. Although I would say the same thing for Anthony Joshua. To be fair, that do the same.
Can I hear you, man?
But I thought you're cutting off. You know what? Talk to us when you're inside or something, because the connection's not that great, man.
Well,
how about now?
Crap.
Still crap.
We actually we heard you up until the last 5 words.
Okay, sorry. I'm inside.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I kind of botched it up with my fucking terrible connection. But the comparison was very good. I thought this uploader made a very good comparison, talking about that subject and how most Deontay Wilder fans seem to act that way. Like he could do, no matter what he does, he chokes a woman out, you know, there's a reason for it. He went to go meet Trump. They would usually call him a coon, but he was there to make sure, you know, he was like on top of Donald Trump. You better sign that pardon, you know, like that's the mentality of.
Were those the same guys who? Were they the same guys who went after GGG there for the surprise visit? We saw a bunch of that. People were fucking ripping into him because Trump made it a surprise visit. They ripped into him for that. I don't know. But listen, honestly though, it's kind of hard to become a household name when fucking Nestor Gibbs is your biggest promoter. I mean, let's be honest, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say something about Wilder and Trump. It's funny how, like, after Wilder met Trump, he had to go on Instagram and make a video because he knew he was going to have a lot of detractors. And people were going to be calling him a coon. So he has to make a video explaining the whole situation and why he met with Trump. I mean, who else would do that?
Because he knows that his fans are vultures.
Exactly.
Why else would he say that, right? Why else would Anthony Joshua would have to say, you know, somebody hacked my account, saying that, you know, they basically admitting that he feels himself to be a black supremacist, you know, because he knows that a lot of his fans are white too, you know.
Well, I'll tell you right now, he's lucky he's not a well-known person in this country because the press would have eviscerated him for not taking his sunglasses off, being in the Oval Office and shaking the president's hand. I'm telling you right now, that more than ruffled a lot of feathers, but it's just that he's a nobody in the public's eye. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just being honest.
Let's be real. Most people that watch that probably thought he was Trump's bodyguard. Do you know what I mean? They don't know who he is.
But even still, you don't see the Secret Service, you know, with the sunglasses and shake his hand, like not to take them off.
They probably thought he was the bodyguard there. Do you know what I mean? So,
guys, imagine if Tyson Fury said something about white race being, you know, the supremacist race or whatever, the better race. I mean, imagine the backlash he would have got. And AJ's case was swept under the rug. You know, it wasn't publicized.
Fury said from boxing, ban him.
Well, if Fury had said that, he'd be in prison. He'd be in the same prison cell as Tommy Robinson, wouldn't he?
That's right.
Tony Robbins, he's the guy. He's the kid who goes against the Muslims over there, right? If I'm not mistaken, did I see something about him?
Doing his job, recording the case, and they fucking put him in prison for that.
They sent him to prison. They sent him to prison for reporting a case on paedophiles outside of court. Sent him to jail. But the thing is, though, it's the best thing that ever happened to him, if you know what I mean, because his following is tripled. So what they've done, they're so stupid. They left. They think silencing people is just keep silencing everyone to no one says anything. It's not going to work. The more you silence one person, then the more mouths are going to open, and they're going to lose in battle. Tommy Robinson's fans have tripled since.
Damn, if that's white privilege, I don't want it. I don't even want to entertain it.
Yeah. Alex Jones was saying he sent Tommy Robinson 20 grand.
That's a nut job right there.
Yeah. The guy got arrested, and they didn't even say why he got arrested.
He got arrested for violating some fucking some court order. I think it was.
What it was, he was reporting on Muslim grooming gangs, right? But that's what they've for outside the court. But if you remember right, when Jimmy Savile and Rolf Harris, two white paedophiles, got caught, they had fucking helicopters flying above the houses, breaking news left, right, and centre. Yeah, silence when it's them sort of thing. So he's gone outside the courts like to show the people who these people are, and the cops have arrested him and put him in jail. But the money's flowing in. People, do you know what? The amount of money he gets from America fund Tommy Robinson's. Americans do. I'm telling you that now, they do.
It's all a psyop, Stu. You guys are being duped. Let me tell you something. Tommy Robinson. Let me tell you something. Tommy Robinson. Hold on. Tommy Robinson is part of the old kike or whatever the fuck you want to call those weirdos, who are pro-Israel, and Israel was placed in the Middle East to destabilize the region. So as a direct result of Israel's and America being Israel's bitch, their policies, there's been a lot.
Ah, shit. Mossad got too precise. That's what happened. Hold on, I gotta re-invite people, because every time people fall off, I gotta invite 2 people that for some reason the invite doesn't work.
I guess I don't know where I left off, but look.
Damn it, I missed that. I got dropped off. Can you go back a minute, bro?
Yeah, he's supporting Israel, right? He's very much pro-Israel. He's also a Jew, not that it really matters, but he's pro-Israel, so he's part of this whole force that has pushed these unfortunate people, and a lot of them are scum, don't get me wrong, into your country, and has caused a lot of turmoil. And now he's acting like he's your friend when he's actually, hold on. Now he's acting like, yes, he is. Hold on. No. You could look this crypto Jew, okay? Look it up. Now he's acting like your friend when he's actually part of the same force that's pushing these people into the UK, which I personally don't agree with. But he's playing both sides of the debate here. And look, the whole thing about him filming outside of the court and doing all that, who the fuck gets sentenced in like 2 or 5 hours, and then now it's a mistrial, and now he's let go? It's all a psyop to get people.
Has he been let out then?
I think it's been called a mistrial. I'm not sure if he's out, but he's gonna be out. Just wait, dude. He's gonna be out. He's gonna be just fine. Nothing's gonna happen to him because he's part of the people that are looking to just cause ethnic and religious strife, okay? And he's playing both sides of this fucking fake ass conflict, and don't believe anything you hear from that man, because the whole group, Rebel Media, all those people, they're all crypto Jews. They're all pro-Israel, and you'll see, man. You'll see.
By the way, can I say something regarding that? I think that's another subject for Second Renaissance, but just real quick, what's the name of the other guy? Richard Spencer? Is that what his name? The guy I'm always a little suspicious of these people that come out, they gain a following, the media keeps on criticizing him and criticizing, but nothing ever happens to them. It's almost as if they're being semi-protected, you know what I mean? Like they're being propped up to be like this boogeyman that they can take down or demonize at will and distract people. I don't know, that's just the way it seems to me. I'm not informed on this Tommy Robinson thing, but
real people that speaking the truth, it seems to me, real people that speak the truth and that are considered a real threat, these are people we usually don't know about because they usually rub them out or take care of them in some kind of way that you don't have to hear from them. I'm always
I don't
of a guy who gets a lot of media attention, whether it's on social media or mainstream media, or it could be both. I'm always skeptic about
that. This guy, I don't agree with Precise. I don't think he's a shill. I mean, I think Precise say he's a shill. I don't think he's not. For a start, he's from an Irish Catholic background, a football hooligan. He's been. The police have made his life a misery. They've put him in jail for nothing, where he's been beat up. They've tried to get his kids taken off him. The cops have let people inbox him, say they're going to rape his wife and his children, and done nothing. So I don't think that's the sort of actions of someone that's an insider of the government. I think they've been terrible to Tommy Robinson, and the guy's got a heart of a lion. Trust me.
Can I tell you something too, Stu? And listen, I'm completely ignorant on this man and what's going on with him. I just know the one video I saw, it might have been PBS, something like that. I remember they try to pose him more as like almost more of an insider, as the villain. I'm just saying that was the way they try to put him, which again, you can make anybody look like anything.
He founded the English defense.
I just saying that's my only, and I don't know anything about him. That's the only one thing I saw.
Why did he change his name, bro? Why did he change his name from Christopher Yaxley? Why does he go by Tommy Robinson?
His name is Stephen Lennon, Christopher Yaxley. Stephen Christopher Yaxley Lennon. That's what it is. Stephen Lennon.
As Jewish gets, bro.
He was getting death threats off them.
I didn't even know that.
He was getting death threats at the time, I think, He founded the English Defence League, which is an anti-Islam group, and I think he founded it because there was a march in Luton for the soldiers, and a Muslim group of jihadis were in the corner spitting at our soldiers as I was walking by, and burning poppies. And then all the crowd that were welcoming the soldiers all fucking attacked the Muslims and jumped, you know, and the police had to protect them. And after that day, Tommy Robinson founded the English Defence League to counteract these growing jihadi gangs that we have in England, which is about 23,000 jihadis, I believe we have now. So Tommy Robinson could see this coming from years ago. Unfortunately, too many of the fucking idiots in the UK couldn't, and that's why we're where we are now.
Well, it's certainly an interesting subject. I'm interested in that. I will say one thing about this. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that the alt-right is very. A lot of the founding members or some of the main members, they tend to play for the other side, if you know what I mean. They're very into the gay scene, the homosexual scene, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when they start to recruit certain people, and it's just because they want to have sex with them, that's when you see that they're nothing more.
Where are we going with this BDA, man? I'm lost. Where are we going with this?
Because that's what I if you look into the whole thing about the alt-right, a lot of the main guys, because again, it's not one big organization.
The far left. Look at the far left. The fuck, if they're not homosexuals, they're transgenders or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking weirdos, man.
Well, I don't know. Listen, that's why.
Yeah, I think the far left, they're not hiding who they are. The far left, they're communists. You know, they have communist ideas, even though they don't even know what communist probably means. But they have the same ideas. So, but they're not really hiding who they are. I think when it comes like to the alt-right and all these little movements, sometimes they seem like controlled opposition.
Yeah, I find a lot of people on the right controls the Christian backgrounds.
Whoever controls the propaganda controls most of our opinions. You know what I mean?
Hollywood.
All right, you know
Hollywood movies. Who controls Hollywood? That's the biggest one of all.
All right, we're gonna get shut down. We're gonna get shut down.
They control Hollywood.
Listen,
worst
thing
Hollywood did was attack Trump, because it's backfired on big time since then. The sales have gone down massively. The paedophile rings have been exposed. You know, these shills that work for the government are being exposed left, right, and centre in Hollywood, and I think they're really suffering at the moment.
Well, let's make that.
Lost her job.
Let's make that subject the next one for Second Renaissance, because I do want to hear more about what Precise. Because I'm curious where I heard some of the same things he was telling us, but I just only heard rumblings about it. I didn't look into it, so I'd be interested in listening to that, and maybe Stu's counterpoints as to why Precise might be wrong. So I think we should leave that for another episode.
Precise is never wrong.
Oh, now wait a minute. What was it, Pavel?
BDA.
Yes.
Do you know how can you make this show 3 times more interesting and exciting?
Are you underwater? We can't hear you, man.
Someone got you in a headlock?
Do you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I have a mic in my headphones. Anyways, do you know, BDA, how can you make this show 2 times more exciting and interesting right now?
Go ahead.
You can invite Low Plays because he has some points to address, in the comment section.
Listen, Low Plays, I tried with him. We tried getting him on what was it? After the day after Stevenson Jack, and he just went off. Again, listen, here's the thing. I like Low Plays when he's reasonable, but when he goes on this tirade of negativity, it's always this and this guy said this about me. He acts like a tough guy, like nothing affects him. But then the first time somebody says something about him, he starts playing the victim card, the race card. So, nah, sorry. He just keeps. Now I do agree with the vote that people had. He shouldn't be on the show. Everything goes to hell when he comes on. He's got his own channel. Nobody's stopping him from giving his opinions. He's just, I don't want to hear his shit here. That's all.
I'm tired of it, man. It's like it's gonna be chaos and.
Look,
I just want to be on. I just want to deal with guys like you who I'm talking honest, dealing in reality.
Right.
Donna Stevenson is not in the top 10. Come on, enough.
I don't want to get into
and
that.
I'm gonna really sit here and spend my time. Like I make shit move around in my life to do this because, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, I still got shit going on at my age, but fuck, I don't really want to be sitting listening to some, you know, delusional rant and fucking screaming over people, trying to drive your point home. Yeah, yell at me some more because I'll be convinced. But I mean, seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, he's got his, like I said, he's got his own channel. Go check it out if you're not familiar with it. Just write Low Place Boxing on YouTube, and you'll be able to listen to whatever he says there. All right, but
I've just read a comment in the chat. I've just read a comment, and he just said, "But I make more money than all of you. Bet I live better than all of you." You don't know any of us.
Exactly. I mean, I don't.
I'll fucking could film a fucking 10-bedroom mansion. How would you know where I live? Do you know what I mean? The fact is, this is the arrogance of the guy. He thinks he's better than everyone. Well, you know, you've got to have proof before you make these sort of claims. If I know that you live in a shithole, and Precise lives in a shithole, and Butcho lives in a shithole, I can come on here and say, well, I live in better conditions than you do. But I don't know where any of you live. I can't say, well, because he's a Mexican, he doesn't live in a big house. You can't
He's in the chat. I got dropped. He's in the chat saying he makes more money than lives better than all of us.
Yeah, that's what he just said.
Like listen, the guy, he's not.
How does he even know what we make?
And what does it matter? Plus, too.
Listen,
I mean,
I hope all you guys live better than me. I truly do. I would be glad if all you guys live better than me. I've never done nothing that spectacular, but the girl I'm with, I'm telling you right now, if her family had Low Place's entire life savings, to jump out a window and slice their throat on the way out.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So I'm living all right. And this fucking kid, that shit is just fucked up.
Low Place.
Listen, hold on. Let me just say something, because this is what he does. He wants to get a reaction out of people, and we're giving it to him. Fuck him. Let's just move on. He's got his own channel. He can do whatever he wants.
One last word. Low Place. Food stamps don't count.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Let's just move on, because again, this is what he wants. He wants to plant his seeds of deception and just get people riled up. That's what he lives for. That's why he said he's been kicked off a bunch of shows. So anyway, let's leave it at that. And by the way, I really enjoyed the talk we had earlier when we were just, because again, there's not that much happening right now when it comes to boxing. But I liked how we got into the whole thing about past fights and the past fights that we enjoyed the most and what got us into boxing. So I suggest we do the same for the next couple of episodes until something big happens or something, a new development comes up. Because I really enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys, talking about Gerald McClellan and Nigel Benn.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, this break I've had. I mean, I couldn't get on the last show because my signal just went. I didn't have enough power to get on, and I couldn't even watch it because it wouldn't buffer either. So I've not really caught the last show. But that break, I've had 3 or 4 days off, and it's done me the world of good. I needed a break from talking boxing, shall we say?
I agree, man.
I don't mind talking boxing. Like sometimes you get stale talking about the current situation of boxing. When you talk about things like, you know, history, I think it's much better, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, I was wide awake, and then when the Joshua Wilder thing comes in, it just sort of drains you, and before you know it, you're ready for bed, sort of thing.
Yeah.
No, I'll be honest, I was fascinated listening to Precise and Stu going, you know what I mean? Because I'm ignorant on a subject, so I enjoy the information.
I'm surprised you guys even know who Tommy Robinson is. So it shows he's making waves. That all you guys know he is, man. So
yeah, it's because it's anyway. I don't want to get. I was gonna get into it, but we'll save it for either a second renaissance, or if we hit a bit of an impasse during the next boxing show, we'll just delve into that because it is an interesting subject. And let me tell you something. Look, just look into that. Right, alt-right, and homosexuality, and you'll get yourself a nice storyline there that can entertain you for hours. So that's all I'm going to say.
They're all Jewish too. I'm just saying, they're all Jewish.
Well, Precise. I don't know if you've ever heard, but did you know that the Nazis? Because you know we always hear about how the Nazis would send homosexuals into concentration camps. But have you heard about this thing that the high-level Nazis were actually homosexuals themselves?
No, that's not Rome. It's the brown shirts.
They were into all kinds of like sex cults.
Right.
Yeah. Well, when Hitler first gained power, there was two. You know, there was Hitler, and then there was the brown shirts. The brown shirts were an army almost to themselves, to the point where they were Hitler. People around Hitler said, "Listen, I know he's one of your best boys, but you have to kill him because he's becoming too powerful." This is God's honest truth. And they were all the top echelon of the brown shirts homosexuals. In the night of the long knives, Hitler stormed into his fucking room, called him a swine, a pig, and they took him down the basement, and right to the very end, he didn't believe Hitler was behind it, and they shot him in the head. But yeah, no, they killed them all that night. That's a fact.
That's some Goodfellas shit right there, man. Should make a movie about that. Of course, they're never going to, but let me tell you something. Things aren't always what they seem, all right? That's what, when Recognize come in here and we play his quote, that's the thing. They tell you crime rates down.
That's the best way to throw a punch.
Was that?
That's the best way to throw a punch.
Yeah, but
that's a metaphor.
Exactly what I'm saying is, sometimes these people, they'll put something out there in the front and they'll make you think it's something, but it's actually the opposite. It's just to distract you from something else. We talked about it with the fucking flat earth and the to a certain extent, the MGTOWs, which, you know, they say some things that make sense, but then you look at the overall picture and you go, well, wait a minute, is this really the best answer? By the way, guys, really appreciated having you here. Again, I wanna let's talk again boxing. Let's go down memory lane again next episode, and I want to hear some more people that we didn't get to hear from of how they got into boxing.
Can I just suggest one channel? Just go, you guys, if you guys are interested in this alt-right and all that other stuff, check out one channel, Johnny Gat, G-A-T, Johnny Gat. Just check out some of his videos. That's all I'm gonna say.
Johnny Gat with a G?
Yep, G-A-T.
How do you spell that precise? G-A-T, bro?
You got it.
Sounds like the name of a rapper.
Brother, thank you.
Yeah, so check him out. I'm hesitant about putting the name up in the description, because then next episode, all of a sudden, whoops, Hangout doesn't work at all, or we got a bad connection, and you know, I start thinking about who's behind this down connection.
Threats.
Exactly. But anyway, listen, guys, we're just discussing ideas. We're a bunch of nobodies. What are we gonna do? We're just discussing ideas in between boxing.
Speak for yourself.
Now wait a minute. No, but you know what I'm saying, right? If anybody is listening, listen. Don't worry about us. A bunch of nobodies, all right? So
anybody listening, I'm down with the Illuminati.
Yeah, you want in, huh? You want in.
I want in. I'm done.
You want the benefits package. Apparently they got a...
I'm willing to do the rituals.
Oh,
I drink baby blood every morning.
It's like drinking. Some people drink a kale shake, some people drink baby blood, you know? It's all about how you look at it.
I've got a lot of respect for that.
Alright, you're freaking me out, man. Listen, we gotta go. Thanks for joining us. Again, I want to thank Stu, who was here, Pavel, Johnny Gonzalez, before I forget him, John Gonzalez, Recognize, like I said, Pavel, Cameron, Jimmy, and who else was here that I didn't get to? Anyway.
Oh, no, nobody.
Yeah, I think I mentioned John Gonzalez. Anyway, so guys, again, thanks for coming in here. Always appreciate your input. We're gonna put your links on the description as always. So yeah, now I'm just gonna read the hangout, the thank people on the chat. So if you want to leave, I thank you for your service to the BDA Army. You guys make this show.
All right, gentlemen. You guys have a great night. Everybody be safe, all right?
You too, man.
Take it easy, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so take it easy, guys. Thanks again for joining us. And let's see here. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget to join our Patreon page, and you can leave small donations here on the super chat. Small tips. Every little tip helps to get this call-in show off the ground. We want to do it, and I don't know if you guys want to do it, but you know, you can help us out to reach that goal. Don't forget to, like I said, like, subscribe. Don't forget to check out the World Cup show that we're going to be doing also when the World Cup starts. And let's thank the people in the chat room. Boxing Style, he couldn't come on, but shout out to Boxing Style, Overhand, Chris Gonzalez was in there as well, Jonathan Finch, Shepherd of Sons, Wheat Degree, Tommy Boxeo, Mighty Claire, Aaron Kuko, Original Bruno, Pavel was also in there, as well as in the hangout. The Mice, Melee FC, Neto 17251, Moneyman, Dono, Evan Fields. Who else we got here? Like I said, Rotty Davies was in there as well. You guys know who you are. You make this show what it is. Am I forgetting some of the recent guys here? Hold on a second. Boxing Kills TV. Brandon White, I think, was in here as well. Del Boys Boxing News. So you guys know who you are. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being on the show. We always appreciate your input. We'll try to do another one as soon as possible. So thanks again. And we'll see you on the next one, folks. Take care. Alright, the music ain't working. Ah, there we go. It's working.